Okay, I forgot I was muted. Hello, hi. Hi. Hey, it is I can accept now. And it's been a very busy week for me. So hey, hi. I didn't stream in a whole week almost? Or a full week was it? Oh damn. It was a whole week. Well, hey, it's June. Happy Pride and all that. Uh, I'm completely brain is asleep. I am asleep. No, I'm awake. But we have to play this thing and we have to finish this. I'm not gonna I'm probably not gonna do the Air Expo, the EX stages on stream. But let's advance today and see if we can finish this. If not, then I'll stream tomorrow. That's it. So yeah, intersecting routes. As they passed each other by, they glanced at one another, unsure why the other departed, and how long they can continue to fly. Hey, you have to use more. Well, Firewatch is there. Which is the record keeper. Meow. Let's play April. I just noticed that she's great because she has the on deployment skill. She's great for this event. Nasty. The wind blows on the leaves on the young Banshee's hand, and voices fall from the breeze. One more story. How about the tale of the wandering metal hero? He even graced our valley once. In fact, the mist that shrouds Mist Lake was actually blown from his big pipe. It's like your feather horns like this, and you can shield your eyes. So we can use them as an eye mask to sleep during the day? No, of course not. This is so you can easily weave your tears into elegies at funerals. Another recording ends, and the young Banshee keeps her lips in a chest pocket, yet her gaze suddenly turns away, wary. I can read. Eavesdrop again, and I'll throw you into the concrete mixer. Ooh. Was that a Banshees in condition? Yes. You have journeyed thousands of miles from Castle to Columbia, yet you record your people's voices to keep you by your side. Listening to them over and over. Is homesickness hard for you to comprehend? No, but it's rare I find someone concentrating on nostalgia the same way she concentrates on a blueprint. You're trying to decipher the Banshee's language and behavior. Why? To find a new path, to solve your entire race plight that has endured for millennia? I'm not that arrogant. I only hope to take a burden off the shoulders of a particular worried individual. I see. So that's pretty much what I just said. Oh, the music is great! It feels like Long Trail-ish, but more of a... These are the ones who stay on the ground, instead of the countdown and lift off. So, any breakthroughs? I'm not in that much of a rush. It sounds as if you have replayed that countless times over. Sucking at the same old corpus until you drown, unable to develop a new language. The limits of vision and thought drown us into pool of common sense, and then everything turns into so-called destiny. I thought you left Castle knowing this. A rest to recordings is a crude suggestion. It's rational. Hello, I'm Kristen, Control of Rain Lab. Nasti. A talented Banshee, freshly recruited by the Starlight Construction Co., who completes projects 3 times faster than regular engineers, provoking rumors of you imbuing witchcraft into blueprints. We are currently establishing an engineering department at Rain Lab. Might you be interested? I happened to overhear your chat with the boss yesterday. Rain Lab is a biotech company, yes? Look up, Nasti. Do you see those foul beasts and the morning stars behind them? I'm only looking for some kind of power to break through the sky. Sky. But your prior suggestion, if you wish to complete something that exceeds the borders of common sense, then perhaps the power you need doesn't come from our side. Rain Lab should be looking into a scientific investigation department instead. A rational suggestion. Can I get this as the first proposal fielded by our Director of Engineering? Damn! Kristen going all out just to recruit her. Miss Lunorey? I thought you sent me straight to the hearing, or perhaps a more confidential cell. But here we are, waiting for the cable car at the ropeway station. Are we to visit the levitation layer next? Your visitor has indeed arranged for that. Who's got... Oh! Long time no see, Nasti. So it was you. I just got here, and what a fine place it is. I still have half the place to see. Shall we have a look together? Alright. Why is it raining only in the area we just passed through? Cloud projections. Thanks to a sky simulator system developed by Rangwood. Wait 5 minutes and you can even enjoy an aurora. A century ago, that fellow known today as the father of projections once lamented to me on a film set, but then we could actually shoot a film up in the sky. Skyfear has truly set the revolutionary years of film tech in motion. Quite an atmosphere here, Nasti. Personally, I take civilization's rapid developments as commonplace happenings, and now I can't help but be moved by the Columbia's creativity. It's hard to believe you still be in the mood for fun and games. According to the laws drawn up for Propeller Paradise, relevant authorities must call for a hearing within 12 hours of an emergency event, having to investigate the matter and notify the public. Gordon barged into Ryan's lab vivarium, record research projects, and exposed his shady dealings to public scrutiny. Evidence and testimony provided were complete and accurate. Your people arrived quickly, yet you have been dragging your feet to begin this hearing. This is no procrastination, Nasti. 2 years ago, the Columbians never thought of fighting the clouds for the right to dwell above. But now, Propeller Paradise has become the hottest topic in all of Colombia, and its name tops the special play registry records. Take a moment to ride the cable car as it circles around. Look at the facilities around you and at the company representatives clogging the entrance to the registration center. All of this already tell us what sort of judgment the hearing will produce, no? Propeller Paradise. You get it? Paradise. Representing a zealous ambition to fly high up in the skies. But propeller has an exact implication too. There's no need to stopping. There's no stopping. The smuggling network exposed, revealed to be led by the chief executive involving nearly 100 companies. Numerous irregularities found in the park research work over the past 6 months. Once we begin investigating, the exhibition will have to be cancelled. You're right, Nasti. The hearing was convened, and everything that's happened must be accounted for. But that's all they need, an account. And Rain Lab is the most appropriate party to provide that. After all, this sky fever began that night in 3 months. Anyone could believe Rain Lab will do something like this again. Never the silent technician connecting nothing but cables that your peers say you are. Tough, this is exactly a false accusation against Rain Lab now, is it? Your mystery tree still floats in the sky. Putting aside your botanical unit and other excuses, how are you going to explain that? It sounds like I don't even have to attend the hearing anymore. You have already made up your mind after all. I'm sorry, Nasti. I'm not sure of the exact time frame, but I'll go home eventually. Someone's waiting for me. Before that happens, the Rain Lab can become one of the stops on your journey. It doesn't matter if you want to develop a new language, create a new company, or change the so-called fate of your clan. No one will get in the way of your goals. But the contrary, Rain Lab will fight for everything you need. After all, we have many like you. On the catch, or perhaps I should ask, the cost. Nasti, I don't ask company employees to view Rain Lab operation as some sort of grand undertaking worthy of personal sacrifice. If we want to accomplish the unprecedented, we're already on a path strewn with enough doubt and loss. So, we must never stop. Ever. I consent to join Rain Lab then. Seeing as we are still on the cable car, I'm sure there's room for discussion. The hearing must take place and everything has to be accounted for, but it's merely an accounting. All of Colombia knows about the Horizon project from 2 years ago. Christian stole funding from the DoD, but Rain Lab as a whole was not fully involved, so it was certainly her accomplice. Pinning to blame on endangering the entire park on a company versus an individual has entirely different implications, Nasti. Are you willing to sacrifice yourself like this for Rain Lab? Sacrifice? Kristen and I aren't fans of the word. Everything has a price. This is what life in the convalescent castle taught me. There's no way I'll willingly take the blame for one of my Leonard's plans. I will make it hard for the other Rain Lovers. Nor are 3, for that matter. Do what you wish with the device, but let my assistant take the data, since the research isn't finished. He knows nothing about my project, so don't worry about him tampering with it. We are here. The agents at the station will escort you where you should go. Right, there's something else. When I return to Castle, I want to the convalesce. Viola is here. I already know. I had planned to hurry to find her before I went to the hearing. Viola's in the park. Marcia. So I see. I'll send someone to look after my old friend. Thanks. Pim pom pam pom. The hearing of the sudden accident at Propeller Paradise has just concluded. Suspect Nasti Lunorey abused her position as the head of the park's engineering department to conduct unauthorized experimental projects, and this nearly led to a disaster. On the night of the incident, the suspect attacked Gordon Tannen, the park's chief executive, in an attempt to cover up her crime with an unidentified tree-shaped device. According to Mr. Tannen's testimony, the suspect not only deliberately tried to harm him, but she also abused her engineering privilege to tamper with exhibits. She forced her subordinates to conduct illegal tests, deliberating suppressed rival tech companies, and forced a dozen outstanding companies to leave the park. Now, with the ATAO's backing, the innocent corporation implicated in this incident have returned to Propeller Paradise and will continue to contribute to Columbia's aerial operations. The suspect Nasti Lunorey is currently in custody after confessing to her crimes. She will be sent to the DC's court to face justice. From now on, Propeller Paradise operations will be overseen by Gordon Tannen and Gustav, supervised by the Marylander Emergency Management Council. The highly anticipated Air Expo Columbia will not be affected whatsoever. Madam Paella, was that too loud? My apologies. Nasti, what happened to her? Don't you mind that, madam? Let your final memory of Director Lunorey be when you saw her last night. The young agent places a hand on the old projector and gently turns its dials, as manipulating delicate strings of memories. Maryland Emergency Management Council intervenes in all Colombian incidents in the name of monitoring the emergency measures of government agencies. For incidents produce the easiest facts to manipulate. The Tin Man always jokes about how the council methods are more extensive than Mama Jones' stock list, and this of course includes Mercia's origin arts. Erasing memories. Mercia has done the same actions hundreds, thousands of times, but now her hand turning the dial freezes up. No. At the very least, I shouldn't do this to an old woman with already fading memories. Besides, the facts have been tampered with enough today. A late hearing satisfied corporate reps. My fellow agents infiltrating the crowd. What exactly is the Tin Man's mission this time? The more people on patrol, the less I can do for you. It's only a matter of time before he discovers my deception. But if you can't stop worrying over Director Lunorey, I'll figure out a way. Nasti, my daughter, I'm sorry. It was I who left you homeless. Where the torches are lit, the myriad souls be. Bones to bones, souls to souls. Let's conclude the funeral here, Baela. Our people have returned to the courtyard and night is falling. 3 months. Dima spent 3 whole months in the wooden hut under the roasting tree before death finally came. I've done all I could, but I could not alleviate the pain of slowly turning into an empty husk. She was never the sorrowful sort. The reed beads along the lake shore would soar out to the sound of her laughter. But every pleasant memory from the past 2 centuries vanished completely within the first 3 days after she moved into the wooden hut. I couldn't retrieve them as much as I wanted to. In those final 3 months, as her remaining memories abandoned her, all she could do was force out broken, hoarse whispers from her throat. In her 2 centuries of life, she certainly knew laughter in full measure, at least. But why did she have to end up missing death in agony? In these 200 years since we settled in the Convallis, Every Banshee that has left us has experienced a long and painful period of losing her memory before death. A cruel joke, simply put. To the departed, Banshees are the last ones to remember their existence. It is not in our nature to forget, but to remember. Forgetting is indeed a new phenomenon of the last 2 centuries, but you shouldn't blame yourself for a chronic disease we have yet to comprehend. A chronic disease, or a cost. Every time, every person without fail first loses her memories of life in the convalescence, as if the life we created was mere stuffing made of cotton, a substitute that replaced the life we were originally born to live, but in the end, when it decays completely with time, the people it once filled are left as empty husks. Is that not what we have always wanted to do? To create a different life for the Banshees, the Sarkas, a life accompanied by song and pastry, rather than war and death. Remember what Her Highness promised us? As we deal with all of this in the convalescence, she, as the King of Sarkas, will guide our people to bid farewell to our omnipresent, vengeful, and bloodthirsty nature. You personally told me that Her Highness has turned to Originium for answers, along with that dame. I had a few more conversations with Her Highness after that. She never forgot our original dream. She only changed it to a more decisive method to fulfill her promises. Her promise. If the day comes where her flowers can cover the land, all the more we Sarkas will need a new way of life. I only hope the convalescents will hold on until then. The roasting tree is still whispering. Its roots have long since rotted. Neither the children of soil and stone's witchcraft nor my own incantations have been of any effect. I'm sure there's a future for the roasting tree. I only hope you'll be there to see. These past 3 months, have you gotten even a single night's sleep as you kept the Mua company? Her moments of peace were thanks to your soothing incantations that she could gain respite from listening to the boats on Mist Lake. But what about you? Not that not that the Moi is gone. The only one she left who experienced the war 2 centuries ago are you and me. Only I can pay the price. What about the children? Is that why you sent Stefanel to cast them? The Banshee's future should be left to the children. Whether our decision was right or wrong, we shouldn't let the children pay for it. Is that why you didn't let Nasti join in the funeral rites this time? And good that I didn't. If the Kumbari's life is but a fragile existence made of cotton stuffing, then Nasti grew up fighting for her life in Castle. To her, there is nothing but originium crystals sprouting all over the ground. Her attitude towards death will spread doubts to the other children. She has a bright mind. I'm sure she'll understand your intention. I remember when she wanted to build a hut of her own with the roasting tree, but in the end you had her build it in the mistable pulp woods. You hardly bring her to the courtyard gatherings, nor do you allow her to formally study incantations and elegies. How do you explain all that to her? I found the children too loud, so, as the custodian, I had to move further away to find some peace and quiet. She saw how busy I was. And she believed it? At least she said nothing. Alright, La Clavaline, you should go. And you? I wish to stay a while longer. You have sung this elegy long enough. I don't know what else I can do. The convalescence is headed towards decay, and beyond it, the souls left homeless by my mistakes can only weep. You can still go back and keep Nasti company at least. As a mother, we might not be able to pay the cost of always shutting our children out. You closed the door only to hide cruel truths, but as a child, you're pushing her away. These days, I've been getting the feeling that Nasti will leave. Hmm. Also, she's already a teenage adult here. But I never thought the day would come so soon. Yes, it is an abrupt decision. A flimsy boat drifts downstream out of the valley, propelled by an old Banshees incantations. The reeds sway as a thing misbears the fallen leaves on the lake's surface. With the season indiscernible, the farewell is bereft of a seasonal undertone. I had hoped for you to spend the rest of your life peacefully in the Combalis. It was my mistake not finding you earlier than I did. You already gone through so much suffering. When I decided to bring you back here, I have been responsible for you. But in the end, please forgive my conflicted heart, Nasti. I'm not leaving because of you, Paella. At least, not for the reason you think. Unlike those children, you know how Castle is, even now. The living still fight in the market seeming with the stench of rust and excrement, while crystals sprout from the dead like untended weeds. It does not hold the answer I want. But what did you question in the first place? Where are you planning to go? I don't know. Maybe I'll use the half-baked incantations I picked up from you, cast a few stones at the valley's entrance, and let them decide a direction for me. Fesainen, Ladrano, Columbia. I heard those strange names when wandering in Castle. Those places, they are very far. So, take care, child. Eat well. After a long silence, Baila only manages one sentence. The old Banshee who has traveled far and wide bearing word of demise only realizes now how unfamiliar those places sound to her. Her adopted daughter is about to embark on a journey, yet she has no idea how it will end or what sort of advice to impart. As the boat gently glides by the murmur of water, Nasti does not turn around. Farewell, mother. And stage time, intersecting routes.
ホルンが鳴ったから次はドラムの出番だよ。
俺の番、せかさんといてや。この手じっくり考えたい。
私に任せて。狙いはバッチリ。
Oh, okay, she's blocked. Oh, and she's eating the damage still.
やんちゃなお客さんはお客さんとちゃうから。
That's
お
why.
引き取りしてもらおうか。
Are there any ground tiles? I don't think they are.
目標地点に到着。
Liberated 3. Only attacks allied units in aerial state. Hmm.
無数の心がファイヤ
ー。やんちゃなお客さんはお客さんとちゃうから。
Come on,
お引き取りしてもらおうか。
Oh, another one. Shit.
目標地点に到着。
Okay.
奏でます夕日へこの音色を。どうせ死ぬなら照準。
Okay. So these fleeing things count as one?
これより索敵を行う。
What?
来い来い。
I see. So that's what's happening.
奏でましょう。
これより索敵を行う。
視界良好、私に任せて。ノリノリの曲でいくよ。
There we go. Fly 3, fly for me.
今から戦い、どうせ死ぬなら道連れにしてやる。
了解した。発射。
Only 2 balloons here. What?
来い来い。無茶言わんといてや、社長さん。
体の匂いをごまかすんだ。挑戦しがいのある強敵だといいな。
Oh,
やっと出番だね。
wait, we're done.
了解した。
Done that.
私に任せて。狙いはバッチリ。
Ha!
足音聞こえた。
I guess. I
足音
suppose
聞こえた。
that was going to happen.
足
Okay.
音聞こえた。罠を仕掛けて。
That one wasn't.
200メートル先に辻門っぽいの発見。
Can I?
お
Got that
こ
hit.
っちに来て。景色最高だよ。
Did it say that it was extra damage to aerial units or something like that?
無数の心が交わるハーモニー。獲物を見え。罠を仕掛けて。じっと待つ。
Shice.
耳を澄ませましょう。
テープに足を取られないように。
Well, damn it. Come on.
私に任せて。この矢は外れない気がする。
残念。私には魂の乱数しか聞こえない。
This is bad. This is bad. This is very, very bad. Well,
これより索敵を行う。
what can you do? Only 5 more.
俺のここ、ほんまに大丈夫か？
ファイヤー。
毎度。お客さん。
これより索敵を行う。
Yep.
怖がらないで。
No, that's not gonna fly.
帰って耳を清めないと。
That won't work. That won't work. That won't work. Only 3, huh? I mean, maximum 3.
獣に気づかれないように。果てない声の重なりで生まれるシンフォニー。
Symphony.
ここ、ほんまに大丈夫か？影から誰が見てる気するで。
奏でましょう。後悔があるのなら、
Okay,
それを抱きましょう。
let's clean this fast.
私、目を大きく開けたままでいる努力はするから。出撃前の最終調整。
やんちゃなお客さんはお客さんとちゃうから、お引き取りしてもらおうか。
私に任せて。ノリノリの曲でいくよ。出撃前のどうせ死ぬなら道連れにしてやる。
Nice.
俺の番？
狙いはバッチリ。
What? Shit.
毎度。一階のお座敷。
Another one.
これより索敵を行う。
What's the range with the flames? Is block and two blocks away. Okay, I see.
今から戦わせ死ぬなら。
発射。
Nice.
視界良好。狙いはバッチリ。
Come on, come on. Nice. Nice. What?
お互いを感じましょう。
Okay, that is a fucking joke.
体の匂いをごまかすんだ。
Come on. Nice. Nice. No one can out Turia the Arturia.
獲物を見えた。オレートさせられ。近くにでか
Fuck,
いやつ
maybe
が
this fucker can. No, I didn't want it there.
私の視界良好。狙いはバッチリ。
Let's see. Let's try.
足音聞こえた。獲物を見えた。弓の準備はでき。餌はこっちだ。
Come on, you.
200メートル先に辻門っぽいの発見。
Nice. So slow attack speed, but a lot of
これより索敵を行う。
damage. Those guys. Huh.
了解した。
ファイヤー。奏でます後悔があるのなら、それを抱きましょう。
And dead. Attention all company representatives and testers. Propeller Paradise will link up with DC in 2 hours. The park's broadcast will begin once we are in range of the intercity net. Please make sure your exits are all functioning optimally. Air Expo Columbia is about to begin. Look, that's the Mounted Finby starship. I heard they made a lot of last-minute modifications and greatly improved his heat resistance. And that solar-powered hover kitchen kit, with a power source that works even beyond the starpod. I've been curious ever since I first read the brochure. Ow! Nothing jolly hit the window rail instead of getting your whole head stuck in there. The expo is about to begin. Are you nervous at all? Relax. Professionals always have an escape plan already. Really. I'll get you out when the time's right. You want to leave already? No, sir, of course not. I'm just here to hand over some stuff. That's a lot of papers, artist records and investigation forms, and the name on them. Fernbarn? Vandalizing public property, theft of cultural relics, trespassing, impersonating a guide. There's a little in the guide worth your troubles to scrutinize 5 years of work history. We just need your signature down here and you'll spend the rest of your life in jail introducing folks to handcuffs and shackles. What do you want? The expo's about to begin, but we need more hands on deck. We can afford to look up the park. The park's only 2 guides. That will waste time and resources. There are too many records with your name on them, and you are connected to Nasti Lunorey. You have decided to threaten me? Stay in line, and this is a chance to wipe your rap shits clean, you know. Seems like I don't have a choice. Save your thanks for Gustav. He was the one who processed it to the Mylander Emergency Management Council. The 2 of you will be missing out on this expo, marking the beginning of a new era without him. I'm sure you heard the broadcast too, before the park plate drives into the intercity net's range and begins the live stream. Make sure you're fully prepared to introduce the future to every Colombian out there. I'll get it. I'll finish all the studio work and won't leave the park before the expo ends. Good deal. Then come on out, you two. Time to get to work. On behalf of all Italians, I express my most sincere congratulations for the upcoming Air Expo Colombia to be held at the experimental propeller paradise. Take a guess who's saying it at the end. Conductor of the Guldeness Gesatz, Guardian of the Ninth Grace. Anyway, one with a string of titles neither of us could pronounce. The Kaiserin. The late Mainlander Sir always said those with a keen sense of politics never lose it, and it seems that holds true. Miss Wilson. I'd rather keep a keen sense for wine testing, honestly. Lorano took half a century to hold their Summit of Nations, an event you could say was the largest diplomatic event on Terra in nearly 2 centuries, yet the Litanian only sent over a few insignificant dukes as delegates. But tiny Air Expo Colombia has got a personal letter of congratulations from the Kaiserin. Mr. President, Propeller Paradise has sent over a gift. A bunch of balloons in the shape of the President, most of which are already decorated in the hallways. Thank you, Poward. Perhaps you could return the Kaiserin's wishes with a balloon like that one. Unless the Gesatz Watcher and the Spirecaster spent 3 days carefully dismantling it into a rubber scrap. It seems to be an average balloon for decorative purposes. I fear that is no longer the case, since the letter was penned by the Kaiserin. It will transform into the most cutting-edge military tech. A aerial bomb disguised as a balloon, suddenly floating into another country airspace. And how many congratulations like that have you received? Let's see. Victoria Grand Dukes, the Ursine Speaker, the Grand Knight of Casimir's. I'll run out of fingers to count on. The VP before me spent 4 years worrying about immigration and tariffs, but me? Impregnable cities got captured, a never-changing sky got ripped open, and a long silent ocean began to speak. After all that, the coronations unanimously decided balloons are always aerial bombs in disguise. And what about us? Oh, this balloon of ours can't even fly. Before the balloons were sent over, the flammable hydrogen got replaced with a regular air. For safety reasons, of course. How safe and careful we Colombians are. Sounds like a serious matter of national security, but you're discussing it with a retiree? Inside the state building, the finest reception hall in all of DC, even? It's hard to imagine retirement making things any different for Yara Booker Wilson. My hospitality is hardly befitting the once eternally shining star, or Ryan's lab for me director of HR. These days, people seem more willing to be moved by a legend or miracle than by politics or promises. Even the most rational congressmen are no exception. If you're referring to the few meetings I had with Congressman Wayne, I believe you have already expressed your gratitude with those unique souvenirs from Kerala. That was just a personal token of my gratitude. Besides, I later realized the scientists at the observation station must have sent you something similar before. Wait, give me a second. If you show up and give the right people the chance to put hydrogen back into Colombia's balloons, I'm sure I won't be the only one in line to thank you. To my understanding, the most suitable people to do it will be those who made the balloon in the first place. I have stepped in on their behalf quite a few times. Researchers are as sincere as children. I can never bear to see their hopes dashed. You're right that retirement has made no difference to me whatsoever, though. Of course, we all know how important Ryan is to you. Look, Propeller Paradise, you don't even need binoculars to see it anymore. We need only wait and see what they'll turn Colombia's balloon into. Look, this high-altitude adaptive balloon in the shape of the President is one of our hot souvenirs. A thin film of the balloon's surface automatically adjusts its molecular structure according to the environment, so it won't explode even if it collides with the barrier. Think about it, miss. Just how many balloons could we fit under the barrier? I remember agents are required to pass a university-level physics fundamental exam. Isn't this park's purpose to push the boundaries of physics itself? Are you flying those samples and snacks on you are for research purposes? Just for this guy's purposes. I'm about to buy some fresh cotton candy planted over at platform 4. A small vacuum chamber that can stimulate the birth and development of Terra. Don't you think it's romantic? At least that less boring to have it to transport a special someone. Special? You mean that Banshee? Yeah, the one you were in charge of before. So the Tin Man already knew. He said you had an urgent mission to handle, so we take over one quite a special individual. Violence in bad shape. You'll have to be very careful. Oh no, an old Banshee has to be skilled in witchcraft, no? We'll set up cognitive interference detectors to make sure nothing goes awry. Cognitive interference? But she's already been tormented by her shattered memories. And where my colleague is at? We have to evacuate all of our personnel from the levitation layer in the next half hour, or I won't get to buy any souvenirs. This is the last chance we'll get to see such weird stuff. I think you should go buy your cotton candy planets. They won't be coming. Huh? I'm at the railway station. Right. I gotta go to platform 4, or I'll miss out on the cotton candy. Madam Baela, my apologies, but I only bought you 30 minutes. Act on your desires. You're free. The door is open, guiding me home. But where is Nasti? There's still an hour before the broadcast begins. Which necktie should I wear? Is Gustavo still deciding who will make the opening speech? Drag it out any longer and we'll have no time to prepare the script. An hour won't be enough to list all my countless contributions to the bark. There are also the many organizations and departments that thank for all the help they have given me. They deserve the recognition. Everything will go as planned. Surely? What am I thinking? We might not get along, but there's no way he'll side with the Curanta and he is only known for a few days. Even at the very end, Gustav never changes, using every trick of his sleeve to keep his lackeys in line, just to make them do as they are told. We're like a bunch of kids, getting all nervous over a little prize we deserve. How come 5-4's not back yet? But then it's supposed to check the office for any news. Who's that? A letter? I knew it! After hesitating for so long, he settled on the obvious choice. Me! How much effort did I just put on to snatch the opportunity transfer here? How much did I have to fight to climb the ladder for my lowly admin job in 6 months? I'm the chief executive of Global Paradise. I'm the only one who confronted it. Oh, he even wrote a speech for me? Those light old folks never leaves anything to chance. I fell in Columbia's. I am Gordon Tannen, the chief executive of Global Paradise. I'm sure I kept you waiting in front of your screens for some time now. Now, it is with a heavy heart that I announce the official cancellation of Air Expo Colombia. Major accident who currently part as the one in charge of the place. I bear undeniable responsibility for this. Wait, an accident? This is a mistake? This is a public apology? Beep. Alert! Alert! Part complete. Letter not obtained for the path. Part of the path has been blocked by a group of Terrans. Based on the travel route, they are presumably heading toward the levitation layers of the element zone. At the same time, detected several high-powered origin products on the move, being carried with identification tags. They belong to Gordon Tannen. What? My tags? An apology letter and the news brought back by 5-4. This is no mischievous prophecy, but indisputable reality. Shock, panic, anger, and countless emotions fill Gordon's chest. Is Gustavo about to cause an accident? Umbrella Paradise, the expo of all of Colombia, has been eagerly waiting to see. For what reason? When did he begin planning this? What sort of pawn is Gordon turning to him? Apology, amends. Gordon is all too familiar with these words. Ostracized by his colleagues and driven by his eccentric hobby, he was always violating the rules. The thin sheet of paper before him reflects the accumulation of his work over the past 7 years. He wrote hundreds of self-reflection letters during his time at ATIO. He remembers every time Gustav would demand an apology from him and how he slid from defiance to compromise. The reward he deserved, the things he begged Gustav for like a child, were accusations against him all along. Did you get the speech, Tannen? So, can you do it? He's carefully choosing necktie tightens, like a tortoise device. All I have to do is do as I'm told. You get what you deserve, you big fucking lizard. Tarmac. There is only one destination. It is the rule. Levitatable zone. Can levitate when buoyancy is available. Units inside can blockade enemies when levitating. So, Scorching Propeller grants 1 buoyancy when on a levitable zone. Nice. Only attacks allied units in ideal state. Okay, so what's with this one? Platform 3 secondary patrol complete. Target spotting position. No suspicious individuals detected. There's no one else left on this little platform but us. What's the stitch on your end? Stitch. The Fort Watson just have undergone breakpoint testing, and the park's about to enter the intercity's net range. Remember the fatal line to the public. The gathering is only temporary, and they can all return to their respective exhibit areas once the broadcast intro segment is done. Understood. You sure everyone's gone on your end? The team was stressed. We had to make sure all park personnel are safely evacuated before we sent the operational signal. The main road was sealed off an hour ago. The support platform's emergency jump pads are all shut, and the cable car routes were all diverted to only go in one direction last night, so no one's been able to get in. We better play it safe. Railway situation. Railway station needs backup. The train search assistant is blocking the access hub with a group of testers, and it's hard to get around them. Go back them up. The crucial with time is right. Every preparatory step has to be complete before the broadcast begins. What was that? Look, over here. A soda bottle cap? Probably rolled off the table from the floating pot shaking. It's probably nothing. Let's go. Ah! There! Mr. Aspen! What on earth is your obsession with that balloon? The coach is small enough without you hanging onto that. I almost got squished flat. I'm sorry, Mr. Byrne, but I beg you to take me here just for this balloon. You have no idea how much effort it took sleeping right out in front of the nose and getting you here. Really sorry about that. Could you handle me to that closet? The location announcement came so suddenly, I didn't have time to make sure the floating pots will be alright during the stream. You want the luggage exhibits on display at the expo that badly? Ignoring a public hearing, signing a temp contract with a tour guide with multiple chariots under her belt, and helping her escape past security just so you can have her bring you back to a sealed off levitation layer? You guys! All not for the sky! I'm running in debt here. The only way to clear is to have the lucky exhibits at the show and drawing in investors. Yeah, the sky will answer every future seeker. And all that jazz. Proper Paradise slogan is plastered all over the place, trash can leads in the slums included. Even if it's blind faith, I'm not going to give up now after coming this far. Nothing wrong with the components. They will last till the show ends. Let's go. How is the door look? Wait, did you hear that? Oh, I did. Don't tell me something's really up with my product. No, I don't mean to exhibit from under her feet. Another explosion, Fern. Another explosion. Why isn't the line moving? Drag this out any longer. The broadcast is gonna start. Calm down. My lender guys are on the way to handle it. They got somewhat surrounded. Seems like a Rhine lab researcher judging by the uniform. Let me through. The tree's hard drive and the motherboard haven't been removed yet. Don't push your luck. Along with the Rhine 3, the Expo has been our biggest concession to Rhine Lab, and we've been even so generous as to let you copy the data for the future research. What more do you want? I just need 5 minutes. I promise I won't pull any tricks either. Wasn't the oil science consultant issued a report on the tree? It's completely harmless. No. A levitation layered personnel are to return to the ground to ensure the exhibits are finalized, and only return after the opening speech. Besides, the oblong cable cars aren't operating now, so there's no way you can reach the Rhine tree. It's at the highest point in the park. I didn't realize how much effort Director Lunorey put into the experiment until I saw the core code. I now remember how she never abandoned her dreams for the sky. Even if it only saves a little backtracking time later, I want to help her somehow. You have to let me go through. Mr. Jagger, one more move and we'll have to resort to more special methods. Wait, the tree looks strange. It was the same excuse 10 minutes ago. No, it really looks weird. Look for yourself. The expo is about to open, with the Colombian sun shining brightly. The crowd follows Sky's fingers and spots a dazzling tree. The branches, wrapped in special material, should have been completely still, like tiny insects trapped in resin. However, right here and now under the sunlight, the broken branches seem to glow green. Organic materials don't photosynthesize. The power handbook states clearly it is for exhibits transforming high altitude environments. Dry stuff doesn't do that. And it doesn't give you an excuse to go back up there. Going up there won't solve the problem. I have no idea what's exactly going on, but I know who does. Huh? He's left? That easily? Levitation layer. 11 main platforms and 20 support platforms have been inspected. Jammers and backup detonators have been installed in 9 smaller levitation pods, which will crash one by one when activated. Personal evacuation is complete. Scouts have done multiple calculations of the fallout curve based on current wind direction and force, and have confirmed falling debris will not reach the square serving as the evacuation spot. Already progressing well, Gustav sends word from the Cloud Restaurant's cockpit that the Rover Paradise will be within this intercity net range in 5 minutes. Your orders, sir? Who only was in those 2 navies from Bravo? It wasn't possible for the Banshee. Positioning shows there as still on platform 3. That's not in the planet's operation range. Should we send someone to check it out? Seems like the mission being taken over. Platform 3 is far from the detonation target, so don't worry about that. I'll handle it later. All teams, synchronous. Phase 2 begins now. Phase 2 begins now. The Yale cell window crops the sky into a tiny square. The ordinary yet mysterious tree, centerpiece of Nasti research and Rhine Lab core project, is now hidden from her view. By strangely clothed figures and floating balloons. In a few minutes, the expo broadcast will begin without Nasti's involvement. Her bone pen and mechanical devices were seized earlier, so all she needs to do now is to play the role of a helpless sinner. If Mule's eyes were here, she probably summoned 8 water clones to scold her for being silly. But Nasti does not regret her decision, though there is one woman in her mind. Bella, living the Convalys, had always left her uneasy if the chance came. Who is that? Director Lunorey, you have to follow me to the tree platform. You're supposed to be keeping the device data and code safe. What are you doing here? But the tree is growing now. Growing? That's impossible. So that's not supposed to happen. If it affects the levitation module, it'll definitely be dangerous to anyone on the ground. The levitation module rose independently, with a backup power supply that can last for 5 days. But the abnormality you mentioned, the only way to find out why it's happening is to go inside the tree. Come with me, Director. The security cams have been rigged with delayed feed that should buy us at least 20 minutes. And I'm not sure why, but the cell smart looks are unlocked, so now. That's because the chief executive of Propeller Paradise opened them for you. Opened them for you? Gordon? What? What's all done on you? A DIY high-altitude face shield, modified propellers, and a second-hand insulated spacesuit? Did you lose it for the parts scrap and recycle plant? Your distorted testimony at the hearing is still up in the parts bulletin board, but now you're helping us escape. Don't tell me you have had a sudden attack of conscience. Nasti, I got your bond pen and devices here. Sorry about the hearing. I'd rather stand into the defendant's dog with you than recite to prepare a speech after all. After all, the confiscated devices were my good anyways. I'll take the blame for that. Who are you and what have you done with Gordon Tannen? What happened? My dear citizens of DC, and those watching this live broadcast, it is my honor to introduce Propeller Paradise, an experimental park that is sure to leave its mark on Colombian history. We don't have much time. Nasti, you have done deals with Gustav. I'm sure you won't doubt the intel I'm about to hand over. Your old boss is planning something with Mailander, correct? But even sharper than I thought. Send the park's chief executive here, when he's supposed to be making a speech in half an hour is proof enough. Friends, look at your windows, up at the sky. No amount of marketing blaster can compare to what you'll see with your own eyes, where the future among the clouds is waiting for you. They went to Cante Expo with an accident that killed the future of Propeller Paradise, though I have no idea what exactly what their plan is. If Mainlanders involved, they'll move fast. What was that? What? Am I seeing things? Something's falling from the levitation layer. Is that the Lucky Sisyphus floating pod? No, there's more. 3, 4. Is this part of the opening ceremony? They didn't mention this on the script. If they really come crashing down... Wait, the boats stopped falling. As if something's gripping them firmly. Huh? What's that? What was that? Oh, it seems that the companies have prepared a surprise that even got me. You have just witnessed Robert Polaris break through in the field of levitation with no needs of papers or data. And this is only just the beginning. No way, there's no emergency stop module. Even in ongoing projects that could have done that. Sky, your field measurements are more precise. Where were the falling pods supposed to land? Official estimates they will have probably crashed into platform 2, blocking the connecting lower layer tunnel. That's the only path we can take to the tree. Gordon, I accept your apology, but I have no time for your plans. That miracle was no stroke of luck. Might have something to do with you and your invasion. Is that a threat? That's my intuitive judgment of all rule breaking. Don't need your help with Gustav, but I do need a bargaining chip to make sure Propeller Paradise stay afloat with everything done and dusted. So my tree. As you handle something only you know how to handle is part of my plan. Got it. Ryan Lab staff will cooperate with you. However, whatever it is you're planning to do, go to the tree and the first sign of danger and I'll come get you. Everything ready? 5-4? Preparation complete. Let's go. I have an opening speech to make. Pam 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 pam. Tarma. 3.
ドクター、敵が来ちゃったよ。視界良好、ノリノリの曲で行くよ。
Please hit the one who moves.
餌はこっちだ。
Come on.
弓の準備はできてる
Come on. 14.
無
Here.
数の心が交わるハーモニー。
Flying Arturia.
獲物を見え、罠を仕掛けた。じっと待つ。
Floating Turia in the sky.
無事に帰ってこれたら勝ち。無数の心が交わるハーモニー。耳を思い切りお互いを感じましょう。
Come on, come on, come on. Oh, there's more of there.
足音を聞く。罠を仕掛けた。じっと待つ。これより敵を撃つ。これ
I knew it.
刀じゃない。
Well, at least she's
果て
low.
ない声の重なりで生まれるシンフォニー。
Get the space for all of them here.
挑戦しがいのある強敵だといいな。獲物を見えた。獲物を見えた。罠を仕掛けた。じっと待つ。
And what here? Maybe. 17 out of 35.
今からどうせ死ぬなら、
Nice.
イヤホンオッケー。行動開始。
Oh, the 3.
視界は私に任せて。狙いはバッチリ。奏でます。夕日へこの音色を捧げましょう。ウレとクロロ。近くにでかいやつがいる。
Nice.
私の武器一本だけじゃないんだから。奏でましょう。私狙いはバッチリ。
Okay, I messed up.
目標地点に到達。
Nice.
獲物を見え。ウレとクロロ。近くにでかいやつがいる。
はっ
適当にぶっ放しても当たんだよね。どうかこっちに来て。景色最高だよ。
Not nice. Not very nice. Not nice at all.
私にこのリズムが今に。
Ah, fuck! I messed up again. I forgot I did it. What happens when blocked?
俺の番せかさんといてや。この手じっくり考えて。
やっと出番。これでも食らえ。
Nope. Another
聞
one.
いて聞いて。注意。立ち入り禁止区域に入っても超能力は得られません。
Haruga! No! Come on, keep attacking. Keep attacking. No, 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 no.
やっと出番だね。私に任せて。この矢は外れない気がする。思い切り
No!
お
Fuck!
互いを感じましょう。
Ah.
ドクター、私は目覚めたわ。 What to do? What to do? 総員出撃。ノイズには黙っててもらおう。
俺の番せかさんといてや。この手じっくり考えたい。
But then here.
果てない声の重なりで生まれるシンフォニー。
みんなに楽しく腹ぐらしてんのに。だっていつも邪魔者が来るんやろな。
体の匂いをごまかすんだ。奏でましょう。果てない声の重ね、星々と共に歌いましょう。イベントにたくさん出てきたけど、こんなカオス見たことないよ。足音聞く。どれかつらら。近くにでかいやつがいる。
へ来い来い。
ナイス。
無数の心が交わるハーモニー。
ナイス。Wait, let me put Nasti
施工目標の再確認は不要だ。
here.
すでに作業を始めている。
やっと出番。カルーンサイフの名にかけて。
プロセスエラー。この
I
家
forgot to make the
君
change.
が足を休める場所はない。
Change the same way.
獲物を見えた。いいなくれ裏切り。
Nice.
これ刀じゃない。まあいいや。うりゃ
Nice.
無茶言わんといてや社長さん。
イヤホンオッケー。
There.
行動開始。
Nice.
耳を澄ませましょう。思い切りお互いを感じましょう。
計画の綿密残
ファイヤ
Nice. Now. Advance. How many
ー。どういう戦術でいけばいい？
Two. Nice. That's nice. That's great. Yay.
やっと出番。これでも食らえ。
Great.
計画の綿密残私には魂の乱数しか聞こえない。
足音聞こえ。罠を仕掛けてじーっと待つ。私に任せて。ノリノリの曲でいくよ。
There you go.
指令を。ファイヤ
These are the last
ー。足
three.
音聞こえた。一応やってみるけど。耳を夕日にこの音色を捧げましょう。
And then we go. Over. What's going on? The Armor backup detonators aren't working. Transmitting signals devices show the devices are all activated, but the 9 target pod's core engines have stopped. Somehow the received signals are all messed up. Even pods without transmitters attached are sending signals. We can attempt to investigate this. Have them remove all traces of our work from earlier and retrieve the transmitters. Captain, that's equivalent to calling the operation a failure. Forget how we do things at Mylander. If reality happens to significantly deviate from our plan, cease all action immediately. We are not some rank with espionage. Fleek here is trying to be tough. Are you sure you're not? Seems like someone is biased against blockbuster hits. We don't get the shots. It's not as if we have no other choice. Don't send anyone to the boats. It's probably the Banshees condition that's keeping those toys from falling straight down. But Nasti should be in jail right now, yeah, right? It's not the Banshee I'm referring to. The incantation has fundamentally changed how the levitation layer facilities are connected. The all-functioning receivers prove this. You're telling me the Banshee's incantation is able to connect to the levitation layer's power supply structure, send signals and synchronize commands? That's the craziest things I ever heard. Nasti designed the entire power conduits and system herself, after all. She didn't become one of the Rhine Lab 10 solely solely on engineering talent. So, if we utilize the upper level power grid and detonate just one engine, that will cause the entire layer to fall. The entire layer? So you mean the power will connect with this in 25 minutes? We have to present a reverse firework display to Roller Paradise. Change of plans. Change of plans. Those on the upper layer mobilize personnel and connect the support platform surrounding the levitation layer to the common power grid. Those on the lower layer calculate the crash zone and prepare for evacuation measures at any moment. I'll let Gustav know of this and have the admin staff coordinate with us to delay the opening speech. Also, send a group to the jail to confirm Nasti's position and deploy at least 3 elite squads to the elevator square and any ascendable routes. It's only a matter of time before she returns to the levitation layer. Are you not going to join? Oh, I have to go supervise an agent of mine. My lander has quite a troublesome evaluation system after all. I'll join the rest of you once I'm done. Alright teams, move out! A giant broadcast screen hangs in the cloud restaurant, incessantly switching between gaudy company logos and the newest levitation devices, while ugly, agitated voices boom from the speakers. The lower left of the screen is a real-time feed from the control room. A small red dot representing Propeller Paradise flashes, hitting for max DC. 2 cameras stand on a cloud-like carpet, pointing at a lone chair like a defendant's dog awaiting Gordon Tanner's attendance. You're late. You're late. Why did you come dressed like that? There's no time to prepare a new outfit. We only have 20 minutes until your speech. The tie on my ATO uniform was too tight. I remember 6 years back when you just got a set of clothes after your promotion to a full-time role. I personally adjusted it for you. So giddy from joy you were. You told me I had a lot to learn to be worthy of that uniform, and then I stayed in the same entry-level role for the next 6 years. No one even first skill is writing in the self-reflection letters. It's not that I regretted helping you into that uniform. And what I would know. This outfit, the blame for causing the accident. Who put it on me? Oh, so you figured it out? You seized 2 crates of my goods the night I was exposed. I thought you were helping me dispose of them, but I found that they ended up in the hands of you and Maylander. I bet this apology speech wasn't writing that night either, was it, sir? Oh, importing originium devices into Colombia clearly violates ATO regulations, and if security is compromised, I'll be the scene eater for the whole park. So you're still saying this is a personal grudge? Am I wrong? I always been a slum boy to you, a bad little rule breaker. As I climbed through the ranks on my own effort, you only came to hate me more. Your own effort? Do you honestly think a useless bomb with disciplinary records and hundreds of self-reflection letters on the file could manage to transfer to the highly coveted levitating experiment park on his own? What? Disappoint me, honestly. Even though you still have only a superficial understanding on our current situation. Your title, investments, achievements are results from the very moment you stepped into Propeller Paradise were all gifts from me to you. Gordon Tannen, have you ever wondered how you managed to procure foreign original products so easily? You knew what my dealings from the start, and your stock lists were meticulously picked by my hand. The Trident art units from Lithuania are secret equipment used by the Gesat Swatcher for military training. The power shields used by Casimir's campaign knights were disassembled into 3 parts, and you put them into the exhibits into 3 different companies. And the original engines and art cores sourced from foreign military equipment. If the park blows up because of them. You're not the brightest bulb in the chandelier, but you have a good eye. Propeller Paradise is indeed a giant testing ground, but it's not testing those toys in the sky. Give it about 10 more minutes, and the sky fever you helped it ignite will burn into Colombian flames of fury for foreign spies. The countless exhibits in the sky with their core technologies inside them, they are all military reserves for countering our foreign foes. Naturally, Propeller Paradise will become a base for arms testing. Military? I thought you would consider ATAO's interest, at least. It'll always be of one mind when we stand for Colombia. What matters is the country, man. So this apology speech is your stepping stone to a new role. I might even be able to pull some strings and get you a new role at the Department of Defense. Why all the honesty? Not worried I'll sabotage the speech? The fact that you have shown here with the speech in hand means you have already made a wise choice. To be honest, I wasn't sure you will make a qualified piece on the board. But now, that little monster beside you answered that question for me. Same as the rich love with the cigars and watches, simply enjoying the sense of superiority with their little hobbies. 540 isn't a toy made to cut the sky fever. Sure, but you're no longer the reckless young man only concerned with invasion and modification. ATAO sanded down your edges, educated you in the ways of the land, made you think to operate within the rules you set yourself. It made you like me. Go, get your little monster ready too. Let's have it join your pulley apology. It's a fitting symbol of what Propeller Paradise represents. MK, kitschy, useless, an absolute waste.
A little readings are stable, and the bots show no sign of failing any further, while the engines aren't making any strange sounds. We should be safe now, right?
50 meters. Lucas Steve's spot fell 50 meters. Was that Aspen? 6 months ago, I was at the Crowder Registration Center going through the paperwork. I was the first in line and chose the most conspicuous levitation put for my Lucas Steve's. The closer you are to the start pod, the more look you get. That's what everyone in the park thinks, even if your pod is only a few inches higher than your neighbors. I lined up overnight just to get a spot closer to the sky. I hired over 100 testers to secure and exhibit the spot, and got a smuggled contraband just to keep my Lucas Steve's running. Miss Barn, I can tell you're not fan of the competition, but this is the basic log of Propeller Paradise. I'm sure you have seen it yourself on your tours. I get a list of companies and corporate data updated daily, and there are people who just complain about their terrible lives only to hit right by to their misery. You only got here a month ago. To you, this is a place you just happen to visit. To us, it's the only path to the future, and only a few will survive. Maybe you think I'm just a desperate sick man talking out of his ass. When the levitation platforms rise alongside the tons of pods, we just feel the excitement coursing through our veins for no reason, don't we? I poured everything into this I had into the Lucas Steve's, and that's why I have to win this gamble. I knew it. Even though the incantation can link multiple platforms and pods through the power lines, its range is still limited when calculated outward from the tree. I have a hair in my mouth. Wait. I can't get it. Okay. Barian, send a signal to the Sky's team. Tell them we found the pattern of the power connections. Barian? Scientific mind truly is brilliant, don't you agree? Thanks for helping us locate our mission objective. For our engineering experts to stop the research, centering on the platform beneath my feet, have the personalized station at the perimeter immediately cut all backup power and attempt to connect the supply lines through alternative methods. Also, it is highly probable that Rhine Labbers have discovered our plan. The researchers were found on Platform 4 but have been dealt with. All patrols, speed up. Report anyone you see ASAP. Your colleagues in the broadcasting studio will buy us time by switching the camera feed. Act fast. Of course, as always, the CIA is helping a coup d'etat. Those Saiyans are even persistent. Can't those Mylander guys fly or something? How are they everywhere? I think we lured them away and there's no one here. No! Have I tested on 2 rain levels found on support level for 17? They have all been dealt with and will be sent to the station to the lower field level 5 minutes from now. The operation is going smoothly. They lack the numbers and are scattered like headless houseflies. Well, everyone excels in their own fields until lack communication equipment and anyone to direct them. What about Nasti? She escaped from the lower level cells 10 minutes ago, but no contact has been noted between her and any of her staff. She knows the park structure. We're at a disadvantage with such a tight time window. But hide and seek is not a single player game. We'll continue our patrols. A smattering of testers and researchers will not significantly affect our operation. Stay wary and report back promptly. Wasn't there one more person here just now?
He didn't notice me. Thanks for pulling me back, Mr. Jagger.
You're welcome. You good?
With the whole thing the others knocked down so easily still has my knees feeling like spaghetti.
Can you run?
I can.
Let's split up there then. Here then. No time to slow down.
I'm here, sir.
Let me have a smoke first, Mary. You can look at those screens while I'm at it. Mercy fixes her gaze at the dozen or so monitors on the wall and sees the high-altitude elevator, the floating platforms, the runway, the station. Almost every inch of Propeller Paradise is displayed on the screens. The bright and bizarre structures in the sky seem to pop out from the screens, a strange sight in the dark room, as if Mercy was attending a post-modern art exhibition instead.
This place...
What of it?
Nothing. I just don't think Propeller Paradise will have such a sealed off space.
Reminds you of our interrogation room?
So, may I know why you were looking for me?
Look at the upper right monitor. You heard explosions earlier, didn't you? The nearly 10 floating pods connected to the Rhine Lab 3 should have been smoking heaps of scrap metal into wasted by now. Barry, I'm sure you know what sort of force kept them in there still.
An incantation. I kept this secret from you, sir.
Our colleagues at the Emergency Management Council have only just captured the dangerous criminals responsible for the explosion, and now they have to clean up the mess caused by their own people's negligence. You have seen it. The Banshees incantation has changed the way the levitation layer connects to the other platforms and pods. Any other incident happens, and it will affect more than just 9 pods. The situation is dire.
Sir, I shouldn't be speaking to you like this as a secretary or a Mylander agent, but I understand my colleagues and I know how the council works. Just now, I was looking at the surveillance footage, and they were busy munching on cotton candy. Inefficient methods of deception like that should be forbidden on such serious occasions. I have completed my mission on Propeller Paradise, both monitoring Mr. Tane and the many tech companies and exposing their secrets. But now I see these missions were never to ensure the expo ran smoothly. Be it the secret from the start, or the explosion just now, or the so-called other incident you mentioned. They have all been part of your plan, yes?
You're keen. You pass.
So what exactly?
Let's sit down before we continue.
Sit down, sit down!
Come on, you three. Some manners would be good.
Is this a Mylander trial for a traitor? Or
have I finally found the time to handle a year's troublesome evaluation process? Don't worry, I'm just an old fart who wishes to impart some wisdom to the younger generation.
I'm curious what that wisdom is.
Oh, Mary, I'm sure you'll hate this rotten nonsense. 1 year ago, Ryan Lab submitted a proposal to DC, a project developing tech from Galleria Stellaria, and Congressman Street was inspired to expand the project for the whole country.
The secretary burned at the midnight oil to prepare a slideshow showcasing what the congressman saw in his dreams after seeing the sky over Tremos being torn apart.
Foundation stalls beneath in the clouds.
Vulcan will turn the Mercy's bow,
Rain or shine, it'll all be under our feet.
swinging midair while holding onto Mercy's head.
Tour groups leave the start pod one by one as the train moves are covered with Colombian flags.
And so on and on. Congress voted. How did that turn out?
273 to 65. More than 80% voted yeah. Heh.
And the government is here to water and fertilize those fantasies. I'm sure you know better than I do just how many companies and testers were scrambling to get into proper paradise at any cost after that, Mary.
Too many to count.
Nearly half the companies in Colombia have added a sky-related department, and even airframe manufacturers have been trying to add clouds to applicable product lines.
Tin Man, don't forget about the stocks. There are over 200 subcategories of sky-related concept stocks, with the longest registered validity period extended 300 years into the future. Companies willingly apply for loans with interest rates several times higher than the prevailing market rate just to secure a spot on Propeller Paradise.
I remember looking through Ordo's case files, and coming across a certain Aspen who bought contraband goods from him just to clear inspections. No, it wasn't because he didn't know the law. It was because he was divorced, had sold his family assets, and was burdened with a hopeless mountain of debt. The so-called lucky system is a high-stakes gamble that will decide the rest of his life. What a shame.
A shame?
He used to run a grocery store in a town by the shipping routes near DC, and even now there might be some pioneers out there still using the tools he peddled. But here he is with this invention, that floating revolving bar where the people turn, but not the beer. What else can you even do with that, other than invite your foes for a drink? Simply would. What he's done is taken to a student, frantically writing compliments in the margins, hoping the teacher will give him a perfect score. Take the future as a real test. Who's going to be the examiner? You? Me? The generals at the DOD? Or maybe Congress? Maybe it will be Casimir's, who just equipped all the company knights with power armor. Or Lieutenant with a recent addition of basic arts tactics course to all the school curricula. Or perhaps Ursus with its growing army, their mighty force that left their minds empty. Could it be Aegir, currently shelling Tiberian coast with artillery along with the sea monsters? Among those parties, I fear it is the sea monsters who are the most likely to visit a floating revolving bar.
Sir, you mean to say that the Colombia's fanatism for the sky is completely meaningless?
Compared to what's happening everywhere else right now, I'm afraid so. Colombia has always been driven by fanatism. I'm sure you are crystal clear on this, given your background, Mercia. Without a fanatical drive for freedom, we would have had frontier rebels 80 plus years ago, and we Colombians would still be living under the victorious hill. Without a lust for wealth, our mass pioneer movement would not have happened, and nearly half of Colombia land today will remain an untraversable wilderness, even for the strongest founded beast. But this time, it's just a waste.
So you think Propeller Paradise should take the blame?
Why would I? It has already accomplished its mission perfectly. Well, it's one step away. Let's stir up the Colombian seal more effectively than I could ever hope to. No, it just needs to redirect it.
Through its ruin?
Through it being destroyed.
Who? Who else in this park could... Wait. Mr. Tana's good smuggled from all across Terra. Casimir's, Ritanian, Sargon, and even Kasder.
They'll become weapons planted by foreign spies, deliberately intended to ruin Colombia's display of achievements and destroy your people's fantasies of taking to the skies. 80 plus years later, the Colombia's rage will be reignited once more. Casimir's might not want to see their tax money turning into night arbor, while Litanial children might just run away from the boring basic arts tactic classes. For Colombians, we have our fervor. As we move to the future, we move forward together, tens of millions strong. As long as we can direct the seal into a proper path, who later will insist the truth of everything. Sir, I remember you telling me your story. I thought you always hated war. It's been tens of thousands of years. The number of lost souls in my hand is no less than the casualties of a military campaign. The reason I didn't burn in Castle Fornace then is that I hate meaningless sacrifices. But this time, our race might just be the beginning. You and I know it won't be end there, just like how the Great Expansion didn't end with the discovery of some more. So, the sacrifice Columbia needs for this competition wouldn't be enough with just a spark, correct? I told you before, right? This is a whole bunch of rotten nonsense. The Mainlander Foundation didn't have to explain all of this to you, my dear agent. But the day will come when you have to accept the truth, even if you don't agree with it. Don't forget your family name, Marcia. You are Celine. Celine, as the goddess of the moon. Selene. This is... The elevators connecting the park's upper and lower levels have been sealed off, and the only roadway station leading to the tree is also out of service. Nasti has exhausted herself just by getting here. Floating pods by her side and riddled with cracks, black smoke billowing from within, a sign their core energy modules have been destroyed and they should have all crashed to the ground. But the pods stubbornly remain amongst the clouds, piecing together a precarious path, as if an invisible pair of hands are holding them up. Nasti? Where are the others? I'll go get her. Ian rushes towards her, but just as he takes a step forward, the bricks under his feet shift. He's gone. Target sighted. Location, flying toward the station, requesting backup. We tried to intercept her, but something's out here. Disorder? Nasti regards the river at the mouth of the convalescent of the Banshees. Still and calm, where even a child could safely row a boat on their own. However, unassisted intruders finds the dense forest on both sides constantly shifting positions, like a mobile labyrinth, with the distant riverbank always hidden beyond the thick mist. After a momentary silence, Nasti steps out of the pod and into the empty sky. Brick and stone immediately form a floor beneath her. Disorder. A path held together by an incantation. Convalescent Banshees often isolate themselves from outsiders, or decorate their own courtyards with this method. She also used the same tactic to momentarily stall Zarya back in the ring lab. This is a path especially paved, just for her. To her surprise, the whole area centered on the tree has been reconstructed by the incantation, but she fails to find the caster within the tree's core among its roots. Only the roots of the tree are breathing, just as always. Please verify your credentials. Nasti Lunorey, Director of Engineering, Rhine Lab. Nasti dashes towards the roots. She must confirm if any abnormal changes have happened while she was away. This is what is left of the vivarium. And the secret Rhine Lab has been protecting at all costs. No matter how the unrest in the park ends, it is the only bargaining chip in Nasti's hand. She touches the roots, allowing data to flow into her fingertips and gather into the branches along her waist. Well, Size always teased Nasti about being a human computer, but she always took it as a praise. In the current situation where biotechnology has fused with Banshee witchcraft, her body is perhaps the best data cable to use. The branches begin to vibrate quickly, a sign of the device overclocking. Almost simultaneously, Nasti feels some sort of temperature shift. Not the chill of condensation, but not the heat of electricity, but body heat. She experiences a strange feeling out of nowhere, here and now. She's no longer Director Ryan's lab engineering section checking if a device is still operating normally, but a Banshee touching another of her kind. Just like so many years ago, when that woman held her own hand and taught her how to blow a leaf whistle. Nastli abruptly looks up. Elated murmurs. Nasti, my child, you are back. Chan, chan, chan.
作戦完了。全目標の相当
It's been 1 hour and 41 minutes. It's been that long. This is a boss stage, or? Yeah. It looks like a boss stage. Well, give me 1 minute. I need to go replenish my water and get something to eat. Hello, I'm back. Roasting grounds. A foul beast sharpens its beak on the branches. It tilts its head to look down at the land, and someone there seems to be looking up at it. Should I pick? Bitter karma.
任務があるのか？このところ書類仕事ばかりだったから 確かにそろそろ体を動かす
It's
頃
been
合いだ。
a week and a half. Of course, I have seen the clips. So, Hoshigumi. Well, I have someone else here that can make it funnier.
皆さんの役に立てるよう頑張ります。
Mission start. Report. All pods on the levitation layer now connected to the detonation web. We have people on the lower levels evacuating people from the square. People are very passionate about the exhibition. Things will take some time, but it will not delay our plans. We will detonate the levitation layer as soon as Propeller Paradise docks with the district. Any moment from Rhine. We have taken 23 into custody. Others are still at large on the platforms. We have control of the 8 observation points. Those people are going in and out of the exhibit area and the roadway stations. No special Rhine equipment other than standard maintenance gear. They're just playing hide and seek? No plan B? Keep an eye on them. They don't know the details of Mylander's plan, nor do they have any means of communication. Any last gasp effort is doomed to fail. Understood. The outline of Max DC, the most vibrant nomadic city in Colombia, is already visible from the roadway station waiting area. The agents have not had a chance to enjoy the view of Propeller Paradise until now. With an excellent visibility, all the elaborate facilities of the levitation layer are brimming with vitality. Pods float in mid-air like aquatic creatures. Floating botanical units line up orderly between small platforms, forming a power grid that supports the entire layer. Wait, where do you say Rhine's people were? Exhibitary and roadway stations. Where exactly? Show me. Looking at their movement, there's no way they can reach the platform where that tree is, or other company spots. Could it be they are not trying to take back the turf at all? But Rhine's people, the sisters and the company reps, they all seem to be flying around blindly in the dark. What's the point of it all? The agent cast a casual glance at the nearest planting unit. The unremarkable Rhine creation stands quietly. He suddenly realizes that the warning lights on their edges are easily visible even during the day, and they have been blinking irregularly for quite a while now. Spotter, report that all the Rhine people have disappeared from sight. No, they didn't disappear. They are going the same direction. There's a pattern to their movement. Everybody listen up. Destroy all the planting units you see along the way. They are not decorations. Rhine is using them to communicate. Cut off the exhibit area from all the roadway stations and find every one of those people playing hide and seek. Find out where they are hiding. What on terror are they thinking? Morse code. Or, well, plant communication. Nom 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 nom. I'm hungry. Now we can continue. You've been looking inside the window for a while. You said you must win your gamble, and you have a reason. Yes, I'm in the middle of a gamble too. I have a rough idea what's going on in Propeller Paradise, given the look on your face and the free fall that we just experienced. You wouldn't run this kind of risk with me for no reason. But there's nothing I can offer you except... You want to look his list? You could say that. I want the contraband that Gordon Tannen sold you. Coming to the broadcast room to bother me when you should be preparing your own speech? You should have a sick hide, Mr. Tannen. I would have died a long time ago if all my enemies refused to work with me ever again. Work with you? I'm afraid I can't. My lander has a laundry list of violations that I committed during my career. I don't want to spend the rest of my days giving prison tours. Neither are you looking for a peaceful life. Besides, my proposal has something to do with Mylander. There's no better vantage point than here on Prover Paradise. Obviously, it's too excited to notice, but I doubt you will miss what's going on. Well, if I gotta say it, the broadcast screens of the levitation layer are switching too quickly. They say it's because they are doing testing, which I'm not convinced about. There are a dozen testers on the square whom I don't recognize. They don't look like they are taking a stroll, they look like they are patrolling. Like they know what danger is impending. Are you trying to take me into another plot? There's a plot afoot on Proper Paradise, right? That's a fact. It's also a fact that I won't let Gustav make a mockery out of this place in front of Columbia. You have 10 seconds, yes or no? What are the chances of success? 10%. Doesn't sound like a gamble you take. I don't have a choice with that old fox sitting across the table, holding all the cards. A plan almost certain to fail. Interesting. Tell me about it. I need you to convince as many people as possible to return to the levitation layer and retrieve the original equipment and arts units on this list. Are contraband you sold? They have far more potential than just sitting under the spotlight. You want to escape and take all of Proper Paradise with me? Whoa! Gustav and Mylander never intended to allow the exhibition to go ahead. The opening ceremony was just a small screen. The levitation layer will fall a second time soon, but miracles don't happen a second time. Look as if Steve can afford to start over. Neither can most startups on Propeller Paradise. Escape and take all of Propeller Paradise. It's the only way to save both Propeller Paradise and the people on the lower level. Propeller Paradise has been traveling on the Barrenlands for 7 days. Fuel is short and the place is operating in safe mode. The basic propulsion module is not enough to change its direction. But the arts unit that the Lucky system got was just a transformation stabilizer. It can supply enough energy to turn a blade. Correct. But it wasn't the only ism that Tanim smuggled. I mean, get all the contraband devices and build a makeshift propulsion module to make the blade deviate from this course? Not deviate. Make an about face. About face? Have you any idea what you're saying? It's the direction of the borders. True, the procedures for cross-border travel is a little complicated. It will be treason. No, I can't go to jail. People need to see Lucky Systems on the broadcast. My wife in Northville needs to see it. In the interest of full disclosure, I must inform you that people won't see Lucky Systems on the broadcast, whether we succeed or fail. No. I'm sorry, but I'm taking the unit, whether you give it up voluntarily or not. We don't have time. What's the point? What can even leave the pod? We can even leave the pod. Someone hasn't logged it remotely. What? Is it the floating botanical units outside the window? 3 flashes is a distress call. The current message is signaled after 5 continuous seconds of being lit. Right now, 3, 4, 5, 7 flashes. Looks like the other units on the list have been retrieved. Everyone's rendezvousing on platform 7. Wait. The light went out. What does that mean? It means Mylander knows what's up. We're in danger. Mr. Aspen, you can either come with me on your feet or you can go to sleep right here, right now. People like us never got to choose, do we? Sit down. Gustav looks at Sabra, who has butted heads with him for 7 years, who now sits stiffly on a chair like a potato wrapped in foil. He knows young officers well. They are angry, flamboyant, unhappy about everything, and frustrated about being restricted by the rules. In the end, however, they all sit in the same chair that rectifies their young spine and become a proper member of the upper stratum of Columbia society. As Gordon Tannen will. Once Mylander's plan succeeds, the broadcast room will switch over to cloud. Don't screw up. Put your usual attitude away. Sound sincere, devastated. It's the Propeller Paradise you built. It won't be hard to steer the abrogate emotions. Tomorrow, that sorry face of yours is going to be on the front page of every Colombian newspaper. Look the part, won't you? And stop staring at your little freak. I know, you don't want to be Brother Paradise either, sharing the same spotlight as Nasti. But your little hodgepodge trinket isn't going to save you. So I'm sitting in Gordon's Stanley's defendant seat. Yes. I can follow you to the DOD once I apologize according to the script. Do as you are told, and you'll rise quickly through the ranks. Guess what? I don't give a shit. What was that? I don't like this seat. It makes my scales itch. Broadcast countdown. Cloud restaurant. Stand by. Broadcast. Now. Impossible. No movement of the levitation layer. Did my lander screw up? What's over in the broadcast? 3, 2, 1. Good. 5-4. Yes, sir. What? Oh shit. As the broadcast cuts to the Cloud Restaurant, Space Fin 054 leaps at an unprepared Gustav, pinning him to the ground. The screen at the restaurant lights up and Gustav sees his own face, written in pain and shock. He knows that this face is being displayed on every screen in Brother Paradise. His contingency plans flash before his eyes, but Mylander's plans is in its final phase, leaving little room for distractions. His communicator lies in pieces on the ground, destroyed by Space Fin 054. Gordon stretches his neck and wrist, crushes the defendant seat with his foot, and leisurely lies down on the sofa next to it. That felt good. By the way, tomorrow, that sorry face of yours is gonna be on the front page of every Colombian newspaper. Look the part, won't ya? You. What? You didn't expect to be immobilized by my little hobby mate to fuel sky fever. You're the elder statesman of ATAO planning a new chapter at the Department of Defense. You made the rules of Colombia when you were young and you continue to serve your country even after your retirement. Ooh, first rate, ain't ya? Maybe you have grown to think that your enemies will always use the rules to fight back. In smart and clever ways. You forget that Gordon Tan is a bandit who never give a shit about the rules. A piece of trash obsessed with his toys. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. You don't even recognize 5-4, even though I didn't change his voice module. Hello, Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Arts Unit and Originium, at your service. To check the progress of an application, press 1. To report a safety risk, press 2. To be connected to an operator, press 0. An ATAO answering machine? I said Space Fin 054 wasn't a rich man's cigar, and I won't be smoked just because it obeys the rules I set down. 7 years ago, I sat on a tiny chair that made my ass hurt, reading my first self-reflection late at night, wondering if I should quit. Answering machine 054 started giving off an unusual noise, and I racked my brains trying to figure out the problem. I started studying every arts unit and originium device that passed through my hands just to give 5-4 the ability to operate, communicate, and think on its own. Using the hundreds of self-reflection letters I brought were the symbol of my submission, but 5-4 is the real culmination of my 7 years at ATAO. You're full of crap. You didn't learn the things of bureaucracy for your little invasion. You think I've never seen you negotiate or written? Arrogant, vain, and vicious, I know them when I see it. I can hear shadows of my own speeches even now as you're talking to me. I never thought I was perfect. Maybe I will never be able to get rid of the bad habits that I learned from you. They disgust me, but they weren't mistakes. My only mistake was to define my transaction as smuggling. I should have allowed myself to accept the rules that have taken form, rules that don't make sense. Foolish boy, you don't understand what's at stake. Listen, old slug. I don't care what high and mighty reason you have. Brother Paradise is supposed to be a breeding ground of war. Sure, kinetic engines and high-powered arts unit could become powerful weapons, but what they are supporting now is the dream of life in the sky. Under Brother Paradise dogs with the district, I'm its chief executive, the man who built this little piece of heaven that still has a semblance of freedom. I will decide whether it should be destroyed or whether it should escape. Damn. Take his passcode, 5-4. Yes, sir. It's no use. Central control console is locked. You can't stop the blade from docking with the district, even if you have my passcode. Who said anything about stopping? What? I said escape. Not only did the former head of ATO not disable his passcode when he retired, he used the security access it granted to disable the urban identification code system on the Colombian border. Cool, isn't it? You're going to commit treason for this stupid pointless children playground? Yeah, you're right. You didn't learn a single thing from me. Let me remind you that Proper Paradise is running out of fuel. You can operate the blade steering system and you don't have enough energy. Even when you're pinned to the ground by the robot I built, you somehow managed to forget that I always been an inventor. I hope to deliver the goods on time. Okay. Gordon has redeemed himself. A little bit at least, in my papers. The sound of rotary motors has never been so clear. The skies are clear. Over the pristine self-cleaning artificial clouds combined with natural clouds to form a wondrous scene. But the people on the platforms are oblivious to it. Some 50 Proper Paradise guards on mail under the agents block off every passage and cable connections, forming an impregnable cordon line with their bodies and weapons. Beneath their feet, classical black and white tiles form a chessboard, the two sides separated by a 10-meter long open-air passage. The eyes of the agents are fixed on the support platform on the other side of the passage. The train staff and testers who had at one point disappeared from sight now are assembled there. Platform 7. The analysis was correct. This is where the hide and seek converges. Our people are ready, but there are more of them than expected. The two other guys in the broadcast room, the intel was not accurate. We're putting in everyone we have. Strength in numbers alone isn't enough. Be on your guard, they have an advantage when it comes to new weapons and lay of the land. Proper Paradise is about to dock with DC. Do not let anyone pass. Use force if necessary. You'll take responsibility. Yes, sir. I'll take responsibility. 6 elite squads. 6 elite squads. Have numbers, but the guys on the other side are. Hard to tell people to keep going when they are exhausted. Get a word out to the others, Yelena. Anyone who's too tired to move, give someone else their core components. Pick up any Hoover unit and stay behind to guard the support platform. You're betting on them being wary about unknown new products? I hope it works. Yeah, made it. Are you sure you want to go this way when it's like this? Yes, this is the only way to Cloud. Take my parachute. Things might get dangerous. What about you? Me? Fern gazes at the Mylander blockade with interest, as thought she's going to meet an old rival. The camera drones left platform 7 half an hour ago. Nothing that is about to happen here will be seen in the broadcast room. Everyone knows that conflict is inevitable. Neither side wants to delay. Their eyes are fixed on each other. Everyone's waiting for a sign. My tower is waiting for a signal. Woohoo! Suddenly, a yellow and black warning flag is raised. A young feline woman leaps out from the crowd, loudspeaker in hand. The first day I snuck into Proper Paradise. A kind guy told me that no one in this place can be stopped, if even the sky is no longer off limits. From the exhibits to the underground lab, I memorized every strange and curious invention, the complex ideas behind them, and hundreds of thousands of words of descriptions. I could tell you who made the flying toaster above our heads, its model anti-generation. I could go on and on about how wonderful they are, but to be completely honest, I find the levitating plates less interesting than the sunset of bleached wasteland. Then I remember what my father used to say to me. A story is always more interesting than an explanation. I've had many frustrating experiences in the years that I work as an independent guide. There's nothing wrong with seeking truth, but many people subconsciously disparage exaggeration, inspiration, and dreams yet to come true. I swore I would never again label things that I've never seen for myself as impossible, and laugh at my own family with my neighbors as I did a few years ago. It was not until the day my father died that I truly understood what he said. If Robert Paradise needed a guide, I would rather tell the people of Colombia about the people I meet here, about their stories. Rice Bash. Eh? A cobbler from Bunker Hill whose dream was to leave a footprint on each of the twin moons, so that everyone who looks up with a telescope will see his shop logo on the shoe prints. There's no bigger billboard on the sky after all. Owen Fredericks. I'm here. Hardware store owner who wants to put his own screw on the second ring lab and earn the spot for his family when space colonization becomes reality. Hey, never hurts to be prepared for the future. Aspen. I'll tell myself. Aspen, grocer from Northville. After being tricked into taking out exploitative loans, I divorced my wife and left home so the creditors wouldn't go after my family. My wife and I came up with the name Lucky Sistivis together. We haven't spoken to each other in 2 years. She was worried sick when I left. He promised that the name Lucky Sistivis would be on TV, so that she'd know I'm safe. Now I know that the exhibition was one big fat lie. But I want her to at least see this red balloon with the Lucky Sistivis logo on it, even if all the pots crash. Aspen, and all of you. The things we want, whether they are based in reality or just a pipe dream, whether they are the result of blind conformity or superstition, they are much more important than Mailander and Gustav think they are. Run! Jump! Fly! We'll overcome everything that tries to block our path and change us, without ever trying to understand us. We are the ones who will decide to propel us Paradise path. Fern dashes forward like a foul beast, loudly blasting her signal as the rest of the pack follows behind, charging at the Mailander blockade. Exhibits fly over the heads of the pushing and squeezing crowd, covering all kinds of contraband towards the sky. Absurd and flying free. Finally out of the woods. Good work, guys. We just have to hang in there a little longer. 34 contract core components, all intact. Looks like the landing module works quite well. My work is almost done. All that's left is to deliver this to Gordon. Hope all is well on his side. Next, put it down. Turn around. You're Gustav's science consultant? What are you doing here? Oh, the horse. The evil and menacing horse. A Knight's Mora, probably. Outside the window, the pinnacle of the DC government office and the Colombian flag are already visible. Gordon's eyes are fixed on the bottom left of the broadcast as the red dot on the map gets closer and closer to the district plate. According to the plan, the devices on the list should have been delivered to Cloud more than 10 minutes ago. He forces himself to not look at the door. Gustav is bound to notice any sign of anxiety. The plan isn't going the way you expected, is it? You're calmer than I expected. Being willing to take risk is not a bad thing, but you're not good enough at assessing risk. You don't have time to prepare a plan B for your reckless plan A. All of you will pay it a heavy price if it fails. And what's your plan B? It's all good and well to rediscover your confidence, but never forget who you're competing with. I told you to getting carried away will cause you to overlook fatal flaws. What do you mean? You're late. I was delayed. You're science consultant. More than just a science consultant. I needed insurance for my plan. The tall, dark Curanta walks towards Gordon, the box holding 34 origin devices, safely contained by protective material. He seems almost weightless in his hands. He lifts his arm and hands the box over to Gordon. What you wanted? Thanks. Huh? What are you doing? I learned a lot from you. Of course I knew Of course I knew what your trump card was. A rival to provoke competition, a scientific consultant with both brains and brawn. A fair and impartial outsider to give legitimacy to the hearing and plan. Too bad you picked the wrong guy. Horse. Gramophone made from the tentacles of a fossilized seaborn. Decorative or specifically functional? Oh, it's for... Oh, I see. Automatic tuning with the seaborn sound producing structures. The grooves on the edge indicate that the designer even tested whether seaborn would just there be a structure based on the music. An interesting idea. Where does this golden skeletal hand come from? The one on the wall is from Star. It forms a pair with the heavily corroded one on the shelf, doesn't it? The construction of the joints and the level of wear and tear indicates that it originated from the western deserts of Sargon. Ah, this rune dagger is a familiar face. They were supposed to be a pair. I got it from a Sami snow priest, who said a pair of lovers put a curse on it with their blood. With their blood! It's driven with witchcraft and cuts through iron like butter. I know. The other one was impaled in my heart. It no longer cuts through iron like butter, but it's still good enough to carve a walking stick. Mr. Consultant, I apologize for any offense I may have caused, and I understand your desire for recompense. But I don't have time. I brought you here for a serious purpose. If we take off part of the structure of the gramophone and combine it with the sensor module on the metal skeletal hand, we might create a new type of voice-guided navigation model. That witchcraft-driven blade can serve as a low-loss needle, and here this high-powered engine internal combustion engine, legal only in Benetton, can provide 30 times the power of a standard Colombian equipment. If only we can find a Victorian transformation stabilizer which is no longer in production, and a locus of sorcery that was once seen on the Colombian barren lands. We almost have all the parts necessary to put together the initial core assembly of nomadic place mobility layer. What? Huh? Okay, I understand that with the gramophone and the skeletal hand, you can make a makeshift GPS. But the whole core. You know what I'm planning to do? Trying to modify an entire plate's power source with a single device is extremely risky, but not impossible. You're not one of Gustav's guys. Who are you? You're the one who said you don't have time. The real question is, what do you need me to do? The evil, hot and menacing horse. Gordon glares at the Curante standing at the center of the collection room. The Curante recognized all Gordon's collections, saw through all Gordon's stuff, and nonchalantly revealed a glimpse into his own past, as though he had pursued death across the land. To Gordon, the Curante seems to stroll through the halls of these thoughts, like a king that knows nothing and everything. Once again, the spikes on the Sabra tails raise up on their ends, swaying conspicuously. This time, it is not because he's on guard, but because of the excitement of victory being in sight. How's the stability of the power unit? It will last no more than 3 days, or 1 day and a half. Its fuel is insufficient. Good enough. You don't actually plan on driving it out of Colombia. You don't think I will shit on everyone's future for a grudge. That's what you want people to think, to allow you to protect as many people as possible. Is that so? Treason is a serious crime. Nah, you should lock up my file. I got enough charges against me as it is. Come, help me take this stuff to the control room. The wings of a foul beast, the horn of a burdened beast, the teeth of a mangler beast, the hide of a sand beast, and the blood of a baked beast. What would happen if you took something from 64 creatures and put it all together? Sharp, weird, chaotic, dangerous, malicious. These are the thoughts that flash through Gordon's mind as he gazes upon the power unit he just created. but he is also filled with excitement that threatens to drive him mad. The player's original power system has been turned off. The device is now connected. You will now decide the course of Traveler Paradise. I sort of know when I got my transfer notice. I will be the one who likes the fire of everything new, Traveler Paradise. I will do everything I can to make even the stupidest idea come true. No one will ever again feel the pain I felt at ATIO, to be forced to admit their own uselessness in rules set by others. Now, I'm still the one who likes the fire, except I'm doing it to the engine of Traveler Paradise, and let it run into the empty wilderness. Gordon grabs the first looking lever on the power unit and takes a deep breath. Say goodbye to Max DC, Traveler Paradise. Thin Man, that Fern is leading a group on Platform 7. I see through the monitors. Looks like Tannen got one up on Gustava's cloud. Hidden from the guys monitoring the entry. Nasti has broke through the blockade. Our guys are trying to follow her, but they are being blocked by something that feels like Sarka's witchcraft. Baila. Send the team over and get the situation under control. I'll deal with matters on the right side. Looks like we're going to meet an old friend, Larry, Curly, and Mo. A mad Banshee on the brink of death might be a bit of a headache to deal with. As for you, Mary, you can choose to stay here or help our colleagues outside. You should stay a little longer. Hey, you three. Denman hears no answer from his revenant friends. Old Curly is lightly waving a stick and dancing an impromptu tap dance. Big Larry lies on top of Mercia's head with tears in his eyes, recalling memories of who knows what. As for Lil Mo, he's howling and yelling, and Tinman can hear. He seems to think he's back in Castle, taking out a revolver and emptying it into the elder revenant, trying to stuff him into the furnace. My legs are numb, and I'm a little dizzy. Perhaps you have been lax about your exoskeleton maintenance. This brain is supposed to rust. Your arts have improved considerably, huh? You managed to drag this tree into the whirlpool of memory, even though old Corley had confiscated the projector. Or was it done black? Did all the memories of their overly long lives make it easier for you to manipulate? It will take a long time to play through the moves of your lives, even at 32x speed. No, 320x speed, not to mention all the moments that need to be paused and replayed. I apologize. You understand that the effectiveness against me is limited. Yes, I'm sure you'll break free of the shackles quite soon. I have read the whole Hayek reports. She could not fully incapacitate you, even after looping your head off. Therefore, all I can do is stall for as much time as possible and delay your intervention. You're an outstanding agent, Mary. You have always been doing an admirable job, helping people forget what they should, be it through arts or other means. But this is the wrong time, and you have chosen the wrong target. You told me not to forget my family name. I have never forgotten. Any Selena who grew up in the old house would never forget. The orphanage of Mainlander Selene, predecessor of the Foundation. It was our home. We really considered Mr. Selene our grandfather when we were little. Do you know what my most vivid memory of him is? When I was 8, I came home from school one day to find the doll that should have been in my room, spinning in the middle of the garden, watering the grass around it. It was the only thing I had that reminded me of my mother. I don't remember her face, but I remember her symbols gleaming under the lamp when she sewed the doll for me. Grandpa turned it into a sprinkler without a single word to me, as though the doll was always meant to do that. The children who grew up with me all have similar stories. You were Grandpa's best friend. You know that though the founding father of the Federation, there are only new things in Colombia, the youngest nation on Terra, rising out of the frontiers. The only reason for the old things to stay is to be used for pioneering. It didn't matter if we were Victorian immigrants or Gaulish refugees, whether we were children of debtors or criminals. Grandpa wanted us to become the children of Colombia, become Sicilians. That was the only reason for our existence. However, that's exactly why I can't accept what's happening right now, and take it for granted. What do you mean? I can't begin to imagine what you experienced in the long course of history. The Melander Foundation, the President, the Vice President, they all have more things to think about. I have seen the analysis on Casimir's and power armor. They have reverse engineered the technology of the Gaulish Bio Vanguard, achieving results that surpass the transmitted using the flesh and blood of knights. I have read the textbooks of Lentine and basic arts tactics courses. It will not be a surprise if, in a decade, every citizen of Lentine is a soldier, as is the case for Laterano. I can understand why Mainlander thinks Colombia is falling behind, and how a timely arms race could bring us back in the right track. Judging by the standards that Grandpa taught me so many times, there is nothing more efficient from the perspective of national development. It's not that I don't understand these policies. Indeed, if I was asked to deal with these problems, I would draw a blank, and I would be able to do little else but cry. But I just can't take it for granted. Not now. If orphans like us, who had nowhere to go, could all become children of Colombia, then why should a mother who walked 1,000 miles in search for her daughter, a merchant who put everything on the line so that his wife would not be haunted by creditors, and testers who are simply trying to earn a living, why should they be sacrificed for the sake of Colombia's progress? My job is to make people forget, but this time you decided to pay a price for Colombia's progress. You shouldn't be allowed to forget. You should remember the lives and dreams that were part of the sacrifice. Don't think of it as no big deal. Nasti gazes at the indistinct figure within the winding branches, the figure of her mother. Viola's limbs have been replaced by grey, white branches, bark climbing up her clothes and skin like scales, printing countless indistinct visages. Low resin pours down like a waterfall, obscuring her face. Many desperate hands reach out from within, clutching her throat like clutching at the straws. Both the tree and the person within seem almost unrecognizable. There's only one thing that Nasti can be sure of. This was not a natural occurrence. You merged with the tree? Falling. I see your rod blank falling, collapsing. I must make sure you can go home. My incantation could not reach the broken path, but the roots of the rusting tree will. I harmed it. Unravel! Nasti's incantation goes unanswered. The tree's design was based on the grammar of the Banshees. It remains flawed in many ways, but it has never before rejected my incantation. Yet now, the branches continue to spread around Vela, dragging her floating silhouette towards Nasti bit by bit. Please, Vela, stop. Let me analyze what's happened to you. Nasti's plea goes unanswered too. All Viola does is ask questions in an arrogant, trembling voice. There is no misstep or pulp outside the valley. How do you polish your feathered horns, Nasti? I never taught you incantations, but it looks like you learned it on your own. A kind of imitation. How did you? And your bone pen, your You heard? That's not important, Bella. What I need to know is what happened to you here. Not important? Bella suddenly is silent, and the creeping branches come to a standstill. An instant later, they start to spread in the opposite direction, encroaching upon what is left of Bella. The vision is progressing. This roasting tree has shared your memories with me. Where you went, what you did. It can share more important things. I saw you dig for answers in the great library of Telich for days and nights. You ruined your eyesight, but the curmudgeon Fremont kicked you out in the end. I should have told him that you were never a foolish child. It was because of me. I saw you bind your horns and attach Folby's feathers to them every day. You sneak into the city of the Sancta to find food. But it was bad for your horns. That's why the one on the right stopped growing, isn't it? I saw you sleep on metal scaffolds, where there were no leaves to give you shade. You didn't build a treehouse either. You just used a simple metal plate. How could anyone sleep like that? Do you get sick? Nasti listens to her go on and on. The voice is distorted, barely recognizable, but the words are of concern and familiar. Baella used to say these things when they lived in Convalis. Nasti realizes that she's not looking at a problem that needs to be solved, not a patient who needs to be treated. She's looking at a worried mother who needs to be understood. Nasti lowers her bone pen. Fern told me how you looked like when she found you. There were burns from arts, holes from bullets, and gauges from sandstorms all over you. You walked the path that I once did, only harder and more painfully. You could have died. You should have stayed in the Convalis. There was nothing more I could do for the valley, for Lackera Malin, for the children. You have already done so much. The lies you weaved for the sake of all the Banshees. I knew it. They couldn't fool you. I began to sense that something was off soon after you rode me to the Convalis. I kept the lie going for 200 years. This was my greatest achievement as a custodian of the valley, and my greatest sin. 200 years. Do you mean that war? Yes. The king of Sarkas at the time was old and foolish. It was not just the real courts. Even outsiders thought they could turn him into a puppet and thus control Sarkas. It was already a bad year. Catastrophe raked the land once, then the Alliance guns raked it again. The green feline appeared on the horizon, leading a wall of steel that stretched as far as the eye could see. Which were the Steam Knights, which were the Spirecasters, and which were the View Vanguard? I couldn't tell. I don't know what the alertable ships of steel and tubes that breathed as fire. All I remember is that the towering Wendigos could only whimper as they were crushed beneath the ships, and our king fell burning from the sky like broken kites. No one who heard the wailing that day will ever forget it. The wailing of the Banshee. I couldn't tell if we were delivering death or delivering to death. All we could do was wail and howl, hardly able to put together a single coherent elegy. There were less than 1,000 of us left when the Allied forces withdrew from Krasdel. Half of us had lost our voices. Because for nature, the Banshees had never missed a single word of the Sarkas, but such losses were unprecedented. I survived by sheer chance and left the blood-soaked land of sorrows, trying to find a place where life still remained. The Convalis. The Convalis. The vast mist lake separates it from the outside. The seasons come to a still in the golden woods. It is a quiet place. one that seemed like it didn't belong to the circus. There's nothing that shouldn't belong to the circus. Yes, we believed at the time, me, La Gramalien, and the new king chosen by the crown. We believed in a new life for the circus. La Gramalien and I took a remaining king into the Convallis, built a dock by Mist Lake, and built our court in the forest. For the first time, we added symbols of life into the song of the Banshee, guided the trees to bear rich fruit, and the vines to weave themselves into bridges with incantations. For the first time, the Banshees settled in a single place. They no longer had to sleep with only the night sky as their blanket, traveling from one death to another. But tokens from outside soon came flying in like snowflakes. Tokens announcing death. Yes, nothing Teresa and Teresa could solve the problems left behind by war overnight. Yes, death lingers long after the smoke has cleared. We made dried fruit out of our fierce harvest. It was barely enough for a few hundred banshees to make it through the coldest months of winter. But the token is in my room, the murky blood crystals of the vampires, tattered shrouds of the Naxerers, the shriveled rosy hearts that Diach become. They soon piled higher, much higher than our dried fruit. I knew that if we went out to deliver to death at that time, we would return to our old path. But the catalyst for change was one with the lives of thousands upon thousands on board. So you made a choice on behalf of all the Banshees. I made the choice. I convinced La Gramalien. I concealed all the tokens announcing death coming from outside. Occasionally a Banshee might leave the convalescence to deliver her kin, but I chose to people carefully and sparingly. La Gramalien faced much criticism outside. For a long time, we believed that we could cast aside our nation and lead a different life. If the Banshees could do it, so could all Sargas. Even if the price was that the owners of the tokens would never find their way to the immediate souls. Even the price was that the Banshees, having violated their nature, are swallowed by a lifetime of emptiness, destined to endure a long and painful journey of forgetting upon their deadbeat. So that's why 200 years passed. 200 years we had endured until I met you. That's why they had to leave. How many deaths did you tell the others about each month? More people die in Castle every day. You could fool the others, but you knew that I knew from the beginning. La Gramalien was right. You were too smart. You grew up in Castle. I could not have fooled you. But I hope you could live in the Convalescence. Not just because your mother was one of the many thousands of souls that I turned a blind eye to. Not just because I owed you a happy childhood failing to respond to the last wish in time. But also because I hope that the Convalescence, the sanctuary that was built, the hope of seeking a new life for the Sarkas, would at least be able to take in a child from outside after 200 years. I took the child who was most likely to expose my lie in as my daughter. You carefully keep me away from other Banshees. Ultimately, your hopes for the Convalescence fell through. I made many mistakes in my life, but there is none that I regret more than your departure. You were always a smart girl. I've thought about it many times. That is, if I had told you the truth about things, you would have understood and played along whatsoever. If that was the case, that perhaps you wouldn't have. No, I would have left regardless. I remember the day we parted. You called out to me. I didn't turn around, but I looked down at the water. There was no wind or mist lake that day. The boat sailed across the water like a knife cutting through a piece of paper. I saw your face clearly reflecting in the still water. You wept when I said I was leaving, but let out a sigh of relief. So small, so imperceptible, that perhaps you didn't even notice it yourself. Deep down, you wanted me to leave, didn't you? We were co-conspirators in departing. Haven't you realized it, Baila? It is the Combalis, not me, that is truly your daughter. You discovered it, entrusted the Sarka's future to it, and built it with pavilions and boats, fruits and cakes. Your love for it grew as time passed. There were two reasons why you brought me back to the Combalis. To make amends for the price you paid for it, and to verify whether it has grown the way you hoped it would. My departure brought relief, because the one who will expose the fragile lile that ties the Combalis together left. But my departure also brought anguish, because it proved that the body could not carry the burden you hoped it would, even after 200 years. It was too fragile to accept a child who grew up in Castle, much less become the future about all of Sarkas. Nasti, don't. Do you know the answer, Baila? You left the Combalis, came here, and merged with the tree, which is like the roasting tree, yet different. Did you do it for me, for yourself, or simply out of obsession? What are you running from, Baila? Are you running from death? From the failure of the Combalis? Or from the fact that you are dying and there's nothing else you can do for the Combalis' failure? Tell me, help me understand, and put an end to this error. And it's time to fight.
Doctor, 私ちょっと足が震えてるんだけど、どうしたらいい？
ここほんまに大丈夫か？影から誰か見てる気するで。
Music.
Kateない声の重なりで生まれるシンフォニー。
みんなで楽しくハラフラしとんのに、なんでいつも邪魔者が来るんやろな。
一番厄介な敵はどれだ？私が相手をしてやろう。
What are those?
視界良好。この矢は外れない気がする。
Ah, it's dragging al teatro.
みんなで楽しくハラフラしとんのに、なんでいつも邪魔者が来るんやろな。
Oh, that's three. Only three. Okay.
高い場所はいいですね。お日様の光がたっぷりです。この2本の角の示す意味を知ってるかな？
If only there were something she could still do for Combalis, for the Banshee, for her. When her skill knocks back a target, continuously nullifies 2 buoyancy. Attack, death, and rest are temporarily reduced when skills fight. When skills.
奏でましょう。後悔があるのなら、それを抱きましょう。ターゲットは誰？
これより索敵を行う。
餌はこっちだ。ノリノリの曲でいくよ。どういう戦術でいけばいい？最低。
Nice.
指令を。
ファイヤー！獲物を見えた。まだ雪に埋もれてない。ついさっきまでここにいた。
Nasti Lunorey.
無事に帰ってこれてる。
Face.
勝ち。
テープに足を取られないようにね。
獲物を見えた。
プロセスエラー。万物の死の終着ではない。
Nice.
足音
There we go.
まだ雪に埋もれてない船。ついさっきまで来い切りってこれ刀じゃない。あいやうりゃ
Can I do this? Yeah. Next.
了解した。照準。
俺の曲を
ノリノリの曲でいくよ。
What?
計画の綿密さに残念。私には魂の乱数しか聞こえない。200メートル先に辻門っぽいの発見。
出撃前のプロセスなら道連れにしてやる。奏でます。後悔があるのならそれを抱きましょう。
And now.
どうしたの？
Yep.
私に任せて。ノリノリの曲でいくよ。
万物の死の終着ではない。
Damaging all of the structures.
体の匂いをごまかすんだ。
And it's gone.
これより索敵を行う。本当に最低。
And thus, Icarus fall from the sky.
指令を発射。耳を澄ませましょう。
Come on, this is low as hell. Nice. Keep moving, keep moving.
奏でましょう。後悔があるのならそれを抱きましょう。近いよ。ノリノリの曲でいくよ。了解した。発射。弓の準
If
備
this
はで
ship
きてる
goes
よ。
down, man, everything falls. And the last one, Firewatch. Clean. Boom. Down to earth. No such moves. You know, I'm sure we can talk about this like reasonable people. All the rioters are here. Shoot them into lower level jail. We'll hand them to the guards when we arrive in DC. It's almost time. Double check your parachutes unless you want to end up in a puddle. What? Did someone press the detonate button early? Impossible. We're less than a kilometer from the district. Wait, the government buildings are getting smaller. We're moving away from the capital. Those like events are moving faster than your plans can catch up, aren't they? Never intended to stop the explosion. You're just stalling for time for the play to turn. Did you think we had the means to go toe to toe with well-trained units? That's moving faster than the plans can catch up. Change of plans.
Lower level, evacuate by the planned routes. Upper level, protect the civilians around you and prepare to parachute. Point 0, detonate. What's going on? The broadcast has gone dark. I'm the screen outside getting a signal. You're still thinking about the broadcast? Then you heard the emergency management constant evacuation warning. The serious accident has occurred in the levitation layer. All floating facilities will fall from the sky in less than 10 minutes. Hurry up and get yourself to the emergency shelters. Fall from the sky? Oakley looks up to see hundreds of floating pods turn into fireballs in the sky, marring the clear skies with smoke and ash. Without a gentle touch of sunlight, the cloud-like pods turn back into chunks of metal crashing down onto the lower level. Look out! Look out! That was a close call. Thanks! Protested? Which company? I don't remember you. Now is not the time for introductions, Oakley. The streets are exposed. You risk getting hit by falling debris. You should go into an emergency shelter quickly. Alright. Falling, tumbling down. Fern's heart is beating so hard she feels like it might escape her ribcage at any moment. She tries her best to control her breathing. The straps on the sides of the helmet slap her face, inflicting just enough pain to fend off the fear of falling. In an instant, the signal from the detonator travels through the connected conduit, igniting all the floating facilities at the same time. Fern leaps on platform 7 before it loses all power. The falling pod streaks past Fern like a black meteor. The bright colored paint is burned off the advertisements and metal cables flail in the air, giving off a bitter smell of tar. The whole levitation layer sways, mingling the air like a deflated balloon. Lucky Sister Beast, One Boot, Beach Brella. Fern watches these company logos fall together with her. Not that it's a scene that rivals sunset and the bleached wasteland, she sings. But the parachute, Fern! Oops, almost forgot. The drafts lift the feline slender frame. The parachutes come together to form a massive cloud. Did we do it? The people on the ground don't know what's happening. It must be a shock for them to see the air embankments and products turn to ash. They're safe, at least. The pieces of the levitation layer will have fallen on top of their heads if the plane didn't turn around. Besides, they'll never find out that they were scheming and plotting to stop them from dreaming. Where do we go next? We'll certainly go back to Northville to save your wife. Sure, what about after that? After that? Let's talk about that when we get back to standing on terra firma and looking up at the sky. The light of burning fire illuminates the people's faces, but there is little regret in their hearts as they gaze upon Propeller Paradise, now beyond recognition. The remains of Propeller Paradise are scattered across the barren lands between the district and the plate, like gifts that have been returned. Fern closes her eyes in relaxation as she comes back down to earth with Paradise. The elderly Banshee said her kin were like broken kites as they fell burning from the sky in that war from 200 years ago. Now, so, she's like a kite that has too many strings attached. The branches and roots tug at her as she floats in midair. A kite nothing could ever ruin, as she had wished. The rusting tree, that was the name I gave it. I built huts beneath it and made it the abode of every banshee. But all I felt was fear when La Gramaline brought me to its roots. It was like a great void that could not be illuminated by the moons, by candles, or by fireflies. It was still and silent, sucking away my memory a little bit at a time. I could smell decay in the darkness, a decay that we could not reverse, not even the children of soil and stone could. It was a constant reminder of how pathetic the convalescence was. At the end, Lady Teresa and Lord Teresis found a future for the Sarkas through war and death, Meanwhile, Fanel continues to seek a new future for the Banshees. But me and my valley, it is nothing more than a fair sanctuary that quietly awaits death. And there is nothing more I can do for it. So you run away from the roasting tree, run away from death. Why here, though? Everywhere outside the Valleys was the same. Grey and chaotic, impossible to navigate. There was only one path that I remembered. Those unfamiliar names that you said. Lesanan, Latrano, Columbia. I followed the names, followed your descent, not knowing that what the empty path led, and what I would do there. I just didn't want the tree to turn me to an empty husk. Would you choose to go into another tree? I was filled with sorrow when I saw that you planted another roasting tree here. When I felt the spread of decay, I thought you were going to repeat our mistakes. Even if we couldn't save the Convalescent roasting tree, I wanted to do something for this one. Even if all I could was stay, its decay and save you from sorrow for a while. But when I saw it with my own eyes, I realized that there was nothing I could do for it, but it could save me. The roasting tree only takes memories, but this one shares. It shares the story of the Convalescent and of your journey. It makes me feel that I'm alive. I'm sorry, Nasti. I had fused with the tree before I stopped the path from collapsing. Once again, I deceived you. That's why you are so lucid. That's why the tree rejects my incantations. You rewrote its grammar and changed its operating logic. It keeps you alive and you keep it running, even though neither of you are what you used to be. You're like a program that relies on a bug to keep running. Bug? Program? Like a withered tree that relies on a parasitic vine to remain standing. It's not so bad, is it? If this can keep it from withering, then I have finally done something useful for you, for the Banshees, for Sarkas. I can bring it back to the Convalescent. Bring you back. That will be pointless. Why is the tree not responding to me? That means it's working. The other casing of the device Nasti is carrying on her belt falls away with a crack. Paper tapes pour out, laying themselves out around her as following an invisible blueprint, forming an elaborate and organized framework. The tapes are filled with tiny holes that represent incantations, coming together to build Nasti's unique language and safeguard her unique rules, rejecting the anarchic spread of the branches. I said I must understand before I can put an end to this error. Now, I do. Nasti raises her pen and writes down a function, an incantation. Reconstruct. No. The memories that the tree shared with me, they are disappearing. Nasti! Nasti! What are you doing? Moving the preloaded data in the tree. All that it shared with you was only temporary data for experimentation. I know that you don't want to forget, but what you truly want to remember and retain are not this hodgepodge data put together for experiments. Even if it's so, please don't make the last thing I see be the sight of you destroying your life's work. You have walked such a long road and suffered so much for it. To you, the Convalescent was your life's work, but I never had one. I have a goal. This tree is the means to it. My judgment of it is not based on how much I committed to it, only whether it can achieve my goal. You hoped that fusing it with it would keep it from withering, but not withering would make it any more useful. Just like the roasting tree of the Convalescent. I don't want to be cruel, but the roasting tree never truly consoled the dying. It's more than a simple fib tree, bent under the weight of incantations. It's native to the genus Phoeopsis in the family of Targangils, Simarubaceae, and its wood is commonly used for buildings in Southeast Terra. I had an elf colleague verify its nature after I joined Rain Lab. It became the rusting tree of the Convalis because you saw it as a symbol and mourned its change. It has withered because it has reached the end of its natural lifespan. That is all. Even the colors that run through its branches is merely the result of exposure to incantations over the years. I don't remember how it used to look anymore. But, Nasti, if it's truly so, why does your tree look so much like the rusting tree? Because it reminds me of you. Just as you think of me. Do you know why I planted this tree? I remember the day we parted. You were calling to me, but I didn't turn back because some words can no longer be said once you see the other person's face. But I couldn't help but look at your face reflected in the water. I wanted to remember how you looked. New tears flow across the lines made by old ones, as though it was a fixture on your face. I spent more than a decade with you in the Convalis. I never saw you without tear marks on your face. Life in the valley was good. I would have chosen the Convalis over Castle every time, 100 times over. But Baela, was there a single moment that you weren't in pain over the course of your 200 years in the Convalis? At first, I thought I could wipe away your tears and make you smile with simple methods. I spent a whole day wiping my face with misstaple pulp. It was only later that I learned why you were in pain. The source of your pains was the decision, the lie. The kin who suffered because they defied their nature. The kindred who could not return to the myriad souls because there was no one to deliver them. They were the source of your pain. To solve your problem, I must solve the problems of the Banshees, the problem of the Sarkas. The answer lies outside the Convalis, outside Castle, in a place that I don't know. As I indulged in such fantasies, I saw you and I sail in the sky. The reflected sky. It was a calm, windless day, but suddenly the water riddled without warning, wiping away the eternal tear marks on your face. You almost looked like you were smiling. And so, I began to think about the sky whenever I thought about how to make you smile. Perhaps the sky is where we can find our sanctuary, an abode for our souls. The Sarkas promised land could also be in the sky. All the things you did, this tree in the sky, that's where it all began. As a security camera image. Falling like a broken kite. Looks like Mainlanders successfully carried out their plan. The entire capital will bear witness to the fall of popular paradise. But the tremors came from the ground plate. Did Gordon will we fall too? Not sure. I have undone the fusion and reset the tree, restoring it to an operable state. But the tree itself is not yet complete. At least, save yourself, Nasti. 3 years ago, I finally added a condition to my hypothesis when he delivered the myriad souls. 2 years ago, a friend split the sky and showed me the path to the future. But I'm still one step away from the answer. What is to come will depend on whether we find it. We're in the sky, but I don't see the answer. Everything has fallen. The sky is empty. Yes, the sky has always been empty. It is we who must fill it. For you, Viola, I don't think the answer is in the sky. It's in you. I can hear the roars, the hatred, the cries that surround you. The king I delivered or failed to deliver. Vampires, Nazarers, the alley, and Banshees. I have whipped out the below the temporary experiment data from the tree. It's your own frustration, rage, and sorrow that binds you now. Like every banshee that you sent away the last 200 years. Like every circus that returned to the mirrored soul since the beginning of time. That is why your people are made empty by painful oblivion. That is why the mirrored souls are always roaring, always angry, always wailing. But they will leave behind residues of information in death, and the mirrored souls are merely the collective of such residues. But shouldn't it be joy and song that remains? Does our nature prevent it? No. To process residues of information, build a server. If coverage on the ground isn't enough, raise it into the sky. Not just a sanctuary for the living. The tree will become an abode for the departed as well. This time, however, we decide what we leave behind. Perhaps it wasn't function that the tree was missing. It was a command, a decision, a sincere wish. Tell me the answer, Viola. What is it that you truly want to leave behind? The tree. I will preserve that memory for you. Oblivion will never claim what you want to leave behind. I don't know. You don't know? At first, I just wanted to save our kin from pain, from anger, from sorrow. But I no longer know how that can be achieved. If neither the convalescence nor the rusting tree could accomplish it, is there any meaning in leaving anything behind? Viola. Nasti wanted to do something, say something, but no sound comes out from her lips. She is normally not one to deal with hypotheticals, but she could not help but think. If she finished the tree and took her people to the sanctuary in the sky sooner, would her mother have had a comforting memory to cling to? Hundreds of pods fall burning from the sky, like black meteors, like heavy raindrops, like broken kites. Mother and daughter gaze at each other silently, as they hope it would make this moment an eternity. No, you will never want to stop walking, Nasti. Once you have decided on a path, you'll see it through the end. Don't stop now. Don't let me take away the meaning of what you have accomplished. My life may have had no meaning, but there must be some meaning to all that you have done. If this tree is new abode of the souls of the circus, then let me be its first denizen. I gave you a home 20 years ago. Now, you have given me one. When the children start around the tree to listen to its voice, I wanted to be your laughter that they hear, not your weeping. And I want to remember your smile when I think of you. Nasti, my child. I had good memories, memories that made me smile. I remember it was... She cannot finish the sentence. Half a year has passed since she realized that she was beginning to forget, and fled her hut under the roasting tree, following Nasti's trail all the way to Columbia. A journey far too long for a dying banshee. It was not the reunion that she had hoped for, but as the obsession that carried her to this point falls apart, death has finally caught up to her. Countless scenes fade from Viola's memories and become vivid before Nasti's eyes. The Banshee's oar lies still in her hands. She hears a lament. The king who painted the same dream with her has passed, in a faraway place that she cannot see. The Banshee stands still for the roasting tree. She spent 3 months witnessing her kin fall victim to oblivion and becoming them the husk, the price they paid for her lies, and there was nothing she could do about it. The Banshee kneels still on the floor of a dilapidated house. She promised to deliver a gargoyle who helped her in the past, but all that was left was the tip of a petrified tail. The Banshee's sorrow and regrets are infinite, flowing past Nasti like a river without end. After all of these memories have faded, there is one last thing that is left. One tiny, brief fragment. The Banshee is putting a child to bed, a girl whom she brought back to the convalescence. Her eyes are filled with fatigue as she looks at her old friend, but as she will talk about is how lovely the child is. She used to be a child once. She opens her eyes and sees this land for the first time. She does not know whether it is good or bad, but Nasti can see that she is smiling. Time passes through the Banshee like the wind across the surface of Mist Lake, leaving nothing behind. Bella fades away into the sky. A leaf gently drifts down. I'll catch you and remember you, Mother. Nasti catches the leaf gently, as her mother once picked a leaf from the tree for her. One does not need a bone whistle to accompany a smile. After a long silence, she blows a tune with a leaf. Like threads, the notes weave with the gentlest incantation that she has ever weaved. Be at peace. I'd like to make a bet with you, Miss Wilson. How many sky stocks do you think young Pavard, that honest and serious secretary of mine, will go and buy once he delivers the balloons? 0. The end of the line at the stock exchange was 2 blocks away when I came. The last time I saw this level of excitement in the district was when the Department of Defense decided to send troops to Bolivar. I still have one of those cactus hats in my office. People went into the streets wearing those hats, shooting slogans and turning the veins of the DC green. Haven't seen those hats in a long time. No one wants their taxes turned into guns. It's not since Robert Mackinson and his feat of saving Bolivar from the Bolivarians became the butt of evening's radio jokes. Everybody wears a propeller in their heads now. A blue propeller hat that spins. It's awfully noisy, to tell the truth. I hear there's a new version that automatically plays that rock song every Colombian knows when the propeller spins. I grew up listening to Terra Blesses and Sideway 66. I once thought that the song of our time will be Good Night, Arco 1. Turns out it would be Good Night, Christian Wright. The obsession that Colombians have with the future will never change, but the one they are following seems to have changed while we weren't looking. Christian never intended to become an idol. The Department of Defense never intended to become a joke. It never occurred to any of us when we raised a glass to the failure of the DoD that it wouldn't be just the DoD who loses credibility. The people listening to late night radio over a pot of mac and cheese don't differentiate between the DoD, Congress, or the cabinet after all. As you said yourself, these days, the masses seems more willing to take inspiration from a legend or miracle. Sometimes, however, we need to turn their gazes back to the soul that nurtures miracle. Back to Columbia. Finally, we lay our eyes on Propeller Paradise. Not a day has passed that we don't think about it ever since that fateful night 2 years ago. The synchronized return that we just witnessed is a testament to the skill of our test pilots, even in times of peace. Now, Robert Paradise reveals his miracle to us, this wonderful spectacle of the Colombian dream, demonstrating that, declaring that. Silence. Every media outlet, every channel, voices rich or coarse or sharp or warm, all fall silent at the same time. Like the Challenger disaster. Yay! The entrepreneurs and investors on the streets, along with thousands upon thousands of ordinary people, fall silent too. For a few minutes, the only sound in Max DC is the sound of their propeller hats. The rustling sounds they make, like falling leaves, is the only accompaniment to this spectacular disaster witnessed by millions in the capital. Turn their gazes back to the soil that nurtures miracle. Back to Colombia. A terrorist attack? A premeditated act of terror. Investigators conceived that the explosion was caused by a batch of arms weapons smuggled in disguise and general parts. The weapons can be traced to numerous Central nations, including Casimir's, which has long since abandoned the ways of chivalry, and Lithuanian, the ancient nations of casters who have used their despicable tricks against us. The voice of progress falls silent today. It is the darkest day in Colombia's 80 years of history. The nation is waiting for me to speak. I should tell them they have destroyed more than just an exhibition. They have destroyed the hopes and dreams that every Colombian trusted to it. I should tell them this shameless, heinous act was committed by those who envy our splendor, trying to make our people timid and afraid. I should tell them, but they are doomed to fail. Colombia will never be defeated. No conspiracy can stop the lamp and star from shining bright in the west. And then Colombians will eagerly turn their taxes into guns again. Everything that they fervently devoted to the propeller paradise, all those sky stocks and the spinning propeller hats, will turn into shields and swords. Once the smoke clears, the empty sky will be more inflammatory than any speech. The winds of the wilderness of Colombia had never stopped, mercilessly blowing away the smoke and cloud that surrounded the propeller paradise. The sky feels even emptier than before, after all things bright and beautiful have fallen. But it's not entirely empty. Is the suit playing tricks on my eyes? I see it as well as you do, Mr. Vice President. Ad Astra. As do millions of people here in DC. Floating platforms supported by a complicated system of massive hot air balloons and propellers have fallen. Floating labs of many shapes and sizes have fallen. The ropeway system that connected the levitation layer has fallen, along with hundreds of pods. The saucer-shaped tower that linked the ground and the sky has fallen, along with the elevator that it supports. Only one thing rises through the clouds into the bright skies of Colombia. Message from my landers here. Propeller Paradise has stopped moving towards the capital. It is now headed for the southeastern border, accelerating. My lander believes they are trying to escape Colombia, which will be an act of treason. Mechanized units on the border are moving to cut off Propeller Paradise potential routes. More importantly, the unknown object in the sky has already been locked on by our defensive artillery deployed along the district's route. With your speech about to begin, they want to hear how you define it. The Department of Defense recommends opening fire immediately and sticking with the current narrative. Melander has raised the possibility of conveying a different message through the survival of this facility. They have also noted the risk of doing so. The facility was created by Ryan Lab, after all. Before they do anything, I would like to get a good look at this thing myself. A tree? A tree? Ryan certainly has a style, doesn't it? A tree-shaped facility. Do you know what it is? I have no idea. I suppose I'm just here to lighten the mood while you vent about Ryan. Well, it doesn't matter. What it is will soon stop mattering to these people, just like that balloon that couldn't fly. In the DoD's game, it will become an infant slaughtered by knights, an envoy killed by the Witch King. It will fall, drive the rise of the people's wrath. In my lander's proposal, it will become the next symbol of the Colombian spirit, its silhouette printed in every hut that leaves the factories for the next decade. Is that so? All I see is a tree. You see those fall beasts, brushing their feathers and honing their beaks. They have accepted that it's a tree they can roast on. The tree rising from the wands of Colombia? How should people understand it? They don't have to. You said you didn't need to understand the mobile mining platform in the wilderness that you skipped classes to watch when you were young. Did you know if it was carrying a group of ambitious pioneers or desperate debtors? Did it return with a full load of riches, or was it simply drifting aimlessly? All I know is that I really didn't want to take a test that day, and the mining platform happened to be chasing the setting sun. A mining platform chasing the setting sun and a flying tree. They are not so different, are they? What is your position, Mr. Vice President? I'm the Vice President of the Colombian Union. With this position comes responsibility. I can't skip classes to watch a mining platform chase the setting sun like I used to. Still, that was, indeed, what made me feel something about the soil of Colombia for the first time. If the sky is the soil that nurtures the future of Colombia, I'm sure there's enough room in it for a flying tree. Wow! They really did a parallel to using the Twin Tower disaster to evoke the war on the Middle East from the nothing. And they made it an history in the game to make Colombia join the warring state of the world. Amazing. A more remarkable speech, Mr. Vice President. People were moved to tears even at the Rhine Lounge. A single word made the most eccentric, most maverick scientists of Colombia. But I received enough flowers, banners, and strongly worded letters of support, and soldier figures painted in my likeness over the last few hours. Not from Rhine. For the better, I suppose. Let's get back to the topic at hand. How should we define that tree floating in the sky from a scientific perspective? If you really want to know the scientific principles behind it, I could have spent the whole afternoon explaining how its root will spread across the land and its branches and leaves across the sky. From a scientific perspective, however, all you need to know is that when it's fully grown, it will be able to collect energy and information from across Colombia and process it centrally. You mean an energy well like the shaft, but on a national scale? On a server too, bidirectional to boot. The roots and branches go both ways, not only from the ground to the sky, but also from the sky to the ground. You need to force yourself to understand these things. You can zone out the way you did when you visited our Trimos headquarters. It was your words that saved the tree when dozens of guns from the Department of Defense and hundreds of cameras from Mylander media were pointed at it. Miss Wilson's words truly took at the heartstring. Even an old man like me couldn't help but think back to the wild days of youth. I see. And there it was. Thinking that it was because you didn't want to give away the chance to define this tree to Mylander or the Department of Defense. An exhibition and a speech. Sky fear and patriotism had made you the overwhelming darling of the public opinion over the other candidates in the span of just a few hours. But have you thought about the future you will need to paint in order to not let your supporters down? Or was it always your plan to improvise your speech? You know about understanding between Kristen and the Department of Defense. Kristen would build Arc 1, and it was none of Ryan's business who the DoD used it against. Since I already have the authority to define this tree, I don't suppose it would have broken through the starput before everyone's eyes if I didn't discuss with Ryan when defining it. Of course you don't have to discuss it with anyone. Be it Nasti, myself, the generals, the lawmakers, or that plushie on your shoulder. I take back what I said about you when I was chatting with my secretary. What do you mean? You're easier to deal with than Kristen. Instead, your demands. Lift the lockdown on Proper Paradise and allow the escapade plate to return to the capital's route for repairs. As to those involved in the incident. Escaped? That's not how DC will define what has happened. The searchers who stand on the front lines of Columbia's science will never flee in the face of foreign sabotage, will they? What else? Lift the lockdown on Ryan Lab. You know what I'm talking about. You and I should hold an official meeting as soon as possible. You can ask the government to do something we haven't done. We have only ever been curious. What can Ryan Lab do? Seriously? Is no one sleeping tonight? I should have held some night wilderness tours. You just wanna stay still, would you? Even when the place is broken down. I could say the same about you. You look like a Claire gazing blankly at the sky outside after coming back from vacation. Well, I was scared but also excited when we started fighting the Bylander people. You almost scared me when you tried to bite that agent's finger off. I'm not really an emotional guy. The last time I was so excited was when I got approved for that sky loan. That loan shark was showing off levitating devices at the entrance to the local bar. There were so many people watching that they broke the fence. In the end, it was an education or economic circumstances that decided who got the loan, but who could fly a drone the highest and farthest. Which was how you ended up being the sucker who came into it. That night, I stupidly bragged to my wife, showing off the finger I used to move the control stick and win a chance for the future. It was only a few days later that you realized there was no battery in the controller at all. Yeah, I should never trust myself when blood gets into my head. But you still charged the blockade with us without a second thought, didn't you? Yeah. Now we're like 60 bits to the slaughter in the wilderness, waiting for the government to decide our future. I feel like an onion thrown into the washing machine, getting layers after layers peeled off in the tides of fevers. Do you want to escape the washing machine, or do you want to be more than a powerless onion? A few years ago, I had an idea while going to the bleached wasteland for the third time. If I sneaked inside with a truckload of pure gold ore, and took it to the border checkpoint in broad daylight, Colombians would forget all the terrifying lanes in the blink of an eye and begin another great expansion, and it wouldn't be much different from what we are going through. Even if it began with a bored tour guide rather than a scientist who split the sky, even if it was a hoax rather than a milestone. We always try to see new possibilities inside the door marked impossible, to escape the laws of common sense that seem to have no end, to go somewhere else and live a different life. You, me, the 100 of Propeller's Paradise testers, even that Ryan the searcher assistant, Sky. We are all the same. The onion can get out of the washing machine, but we can remember why we choose to go inside. If the government doesn't have us all for treason tonight, I want to stay in Proper Paradise, run Lucky 60 Beast, and pay my debts. Can you deliver a letter to my wife? And really trust regular messengers. Would you like to join Fern's tours? I could deliver you. I don't believe it. There can be a single scientist on Terra like you. How did you meet Gustav? Do you know about his and Mylander's plan? Yeah, I never actually got to teach him a lesson. The old fox ran off with Mylander's people after the levitation layer fell. He was taken away in handcuffs. Handcuffs? Huh! He wanted me to take the fall for Proper Paradise, but he's the one who ended up going down. Good. I have been sitting here the whole day with those pliers and hammers. What are you studying? I'm preparing for the journey. Teguranta gestures to the bottom of his shoes. Only then Gordon realizes that the sound that Teguranta makes when walking does not come from the shoes. A piece of crescent-shaped metal. Nailed to your feet? Doesn't it hurt? No. Feet are more trustworthy than shoes in treacherous terrain, such as the swamps of Sargon, the ice fields of Sami, and the barren lands of Columbia. So you don't plan on hiding your identity from me. My role is insignificant in this entire event. I simply came to help a friend and made a new friend along the way. I do so hate free spirits. You have enough spirits to be my travel companion, but you won't do it. Hey, Teo is gonna be purged after this accident. Why should I not go back when the old fox no longer has any influence? Besides, you recognize everything in my collection room. I'll always be fair to you if I travel with you. I'll make good use of all ATAO resources available to me. You can recognize 5-4 the next time you see it. I look forward to it. Is there any place you haven't been? Like, beyond the starport, I guess? There are many paths that no one has trodden before. If there's indeed come a day when humanity stands among the clouds, I will continue to cast my gaze to the land. I saw you coming this time, Mercia. It's rare to see you not burying your head in work. Are you waiting for someone? Wait, I need water. Ah. What about you? Your colleagues already pulled out of Traveler Paradise before the sun had set. Another rule of secretaries? You have to be the last one to leave? Just ran into a bit of trouble when packing. However. Oh, thank you. I was wondering how I would get them down there. Did you choose the most scenic route, one that would take you around the tree? I wanted to see the final resting place of Baila, your mother. Her epitaph is the leaves that grow upon it. Look upon your way out. She might have the wind carry one to you if she still remembers you. You're not angry that I used Baila to complete Mainlander's mission? You also defied Mainlander's order to help her, in order to help her. If it's the reason that you go from here, I will not consider it a shining example of Colombian justice. No need to worry about that. The Tin Man once decorated himself with drawn parts that Mr. Celine discarded. Usefulness is not the only standard that he uses to judge. And this little rebellion won't be easier. I think that's the one you were waiting for. I'll take my leave then. Give me the parameters, Sky. Transmission complete. Nothing out of the ordinary. The tree is in great shape. But you already know that, don't you? Just making sure the battle didn't wreck your brain. The first thing I learned on the streets of 3 months was how to fight. I wouldn't be here at Ryan if a fight or two could break my brain. Until I come back, you're in charge of the tree's regular maintenance, any derivative projects, and all our staff, workers, and testers in Propeller Paradise. I need you on top of your game. We got the projects, but the workers and testers, they have been asking what you liked. They wanted to give you a token of their appreciation before you leave. They stayed because of you, Director Lunorey. What did you tell them? I don't know. I have no idea what you like, other than our work. Take a Starpod Wars stamp to Pete tomorrow. He'll tell you everyone's personality and interest. Director, the first thing I learned on the Barrenlands was how to deal with people. What do you like then? It's not hard to find out. It's time to go. I leave the tree in your hands. What about the one you were waiting for? He's used to traveling alone. He's probably already left. Left? But we're in the Barrenlands. He'll find a way. Hey, stop! This is Lab HQ. Visitors need to register over there. I noticed you the moment you walked in. Hard not to, given the clatter you make when walking. Did you just come back from the Barrellands or something? At least change your clothes if you want to steal company secrets. Okay, the microphone died. I don't know how long ago. Fuck. Well, it's disappointing to see that the DOD and the Mylander got away with it. But well, at least we all know that Colombia didn't survive to Enfield. So there's hope for the future. Fucking hell. When did it fall? The mic, the microphone. When the hell did it implode? Damn it. Well, 3 hours and 41 minutes. It was long as hell. So that's it for today. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. I was supposed to play the events of Enfield, but now I think I'm just gonna wait for the tickets from the daily logins for Mifu, and then pull for her on stream and advance the story if there is a story to advance. I don't know, but yeah, that's it. That's gonna be this week. Wednesday is Enfield? I don't know, man. But yeah. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. I have been Equinox Eterna, and this has been tight as hell. So that's it that's it. Goodbye. I don't know how to talk.